Chapter 113. Even King Yu had such a day. Su Fong was still cold and calm, like a killing god from hell. If you knew this would happen, why did you do it in the first place? Chi. What was unexpected was that the moment King Yu knelt down to beg for mercy, this person purposely wanted to make Su Fong careless. King Yu kowtowed to the ground, and a red light suddenly shot out from his neck. Die. Hidden weapon. This was King Yu's trump card. Such a method was impossible to guard against. Who would have thought that a cripple who had his cultivation crippled and lost his throne would have such a trick up his sleeve? At this moment, Su Fong raised his blade, and a dazzling golden light surged out from his body. It was the defensive divine ability of the giant diamond body, indestructible golden body. The falling moon blade and the hidden weapon almost brushed past each other. Bang! The hidden weapon was like a shark that bit and hit Su Fong's chest. At the same time, the falling moon blade slashed down as fast as lightning. Blood splattered like a flower blooming. With a thud, he raised his hand, and the falling moon blade was held horizontally in midair. Drops of blood dripped down, and King Yu's head rolled on the ground. His mouth was wide open, and his eyes were slightly closed. He was unwilling and did not believe that he would die under Su Fong's blade. Father. Su Fong knelt down. His eyes were wet and blurry. He thought of the countless bones in Qingchuan Valley. Perhaps it would be impossible to tell who his father's skeleton was. He could not find the bones, but at least he could bring the falling moon blade and the enemy's head back to pay homage to his father's spirit in heaven. This way, his parents could be reunited in heaven. At this moment, all sorts of emotions surged in his heart. He had been thinking about this scene since he was young. After taking revenge and taking back the falling moon blade, he felt relieved but also a little disappointed. Revenge was his belief, and it had always been his driving force. However, now that he had achieved all this, he felt empty. Under the disappointment and emptiness, there was also a kind of gratification. The world was so big, and to be able to achieve the goal he had since he was young made him believe that one day he would stand at the top of the world. Grabbing the head, he sealed it with the falling moon blade and put it into an empty bag. He looked at the corpse beside him. It was Zhao Ziba. Zhao Ziba had been dead for a long time. He should have been poisoned to death. His identity should have been exposed, and he ended up being imprisoned with King Yu. Boom, boom, the palace suddenly shook. When Su Fong looked up, he saw a layer of Qi Gang shattering the bricks and tiles of the palace. The top of the palace was swallowed up by the Qi Gang. When he flew out, the palace was instantly razed to the ground, burying King Yu and Zhao Ziba in the ruins forever. Su Fong raised his head and looked. In the deep sky, more than 10 sword rays formed a circle and were attacking one of the sword Qi. The aura, just now, was the terrifying power produced by the battle between the two sides. Just this aura alone was enough to turn a large area of the palace into ruins. Focusing his vision, Su Fong saw through the vast night sky and the burning flames. He saw people riding flying swords, Feather Emperor, Wisdom King, Heaven Gate's Sacred Emperor. It turned out that the experts of the state of Zhao were besieging the Feather Emperor. Su Fong's eyes were filled with killing intent. Heaven Gate's Sacred Emperor, you worked with King Yu to kill my father. You're also responsible. These despicable people still want to protect the state of Zhao. In the direction of the upright Heaven Palace, almost 100 experts of the state of Zhao flew out on flying swords. It was Shun Huangqi protecting the current emperor, King Lang. Su Fong also saw Luo Muxue. Emperor, let's go. The town king is buying time for you. Shun Huangqi begged King Lang to hide. King Lang insisted on flying to the sky. Ancestor Emperor will not let me go when I escape. Follow me and the town king to kill the Feather Emperor, then suppress the other lords. Emperor, those who were besieging the Feather Emperor in the sky were all excited when they saw King Lang. Sister Bai, Su Fong was ready to attack. He stared at Luo Muxue and saw her riding on the crane ferry by Ling, brother Feather Emperor. In the midst of the battle, a few lords flew over. These lords were also powerful and invincible. They rushed over to support the Feather Emperor and block King Lang Jun's path in midair. King Lang Jun gave the order, and more than 10 armored generals around him, all of whom had reached the pinnacle of the vast core realm, immediately charged forward. The night sky flashed with brilliance. A few lords who had rushed over to assist the Emperor of Feathers were fighting with the generals of the Zhao Kingdom. King Lang, on the other hand, was about to attack the Emperor of Feathers. He brought Shun Huangqi and the others and slowly approached the Emperor of Feathers. Whoosh! Su Fong leaped, and a pair of flaming cloud wings appeared on his back. Bai Ling, who was carrying Luo Muxue and was about to join in the killing of the lords, suddenly noticed something unusual. A flame rushed to the sky from the side and flew towards her. Brother! Where did this expert come from? Luo Muxue suddenly turned around and stared at the approaching brilliance. The person who came was using a peerless divine ability. He could stand in the sky without stepping on a sword. This meant that he was a strong expert. Su Fong flapped his flaming cloud wings and came over excitedly. Sister Bai. Bai Ling, Fairy He, was also very excited. It's really brother. Su Fong. Luo Muxue stared at the flaming cloud in shock. The figure in the center became clear, and she could not believe her eyes. It seemed that Luo Muxue already knew about what Su Fong did in the state of Zhao. However, she still reacted a little slowly when she met Su Fong. After all, Su Fong had become a person who killed the emperor and turned the state of Zhao upside down in just a few years. Chi. Suddenly, a shocking Xianguang exploded from the sky above. Many people from the state of Zhao fell into Xianguang, and the Feather Emperor was showing off his power. Su Fong said, Luo Muxue, you are indeed one of King Lang's people. I don't want to kill you because of your past friendship. I will give Sister Bai freedom and then leave the state of Zhao. Otherwise, you will also become a corpse and fall with the state of Zhao. Luo Muxue was also a little embarrassed. The emperor is my godfather, and I am now the princess. Anyone who is an enemy of the state of Zhao is my enemy. Su Fong, I don't want to see you as an enemy. After all, you are today because of me. I can ask my father to give you a way out, and you can serve the dynasty again. What's the point of being an emperor and a princess? There are demons everywhere now. The state of Zhao will be destroyed sooner or later. You still can't let go of these empty titles and focus on cultivation. With your talent, you will definitely go to the Crimson Heaven continent in the future and achieve something. My father raised me and gave me everything. How can I betray him? Su Fong, it seems that you and I can't stand on the same side. Let Sister Bai go to the side. He had to fight. Su Fong also understood the other party's position. Luo Muxue was straightforward. She let Bai Ling fly to the side while she stepped on her flying sword. Her aura was getting stronger and stronger, and her sword aura was condensing. Su Fong. A few more people came to support Luo Muxue. It was none other than the strong martial artist from Tianmen province, Ho Ping. There were a few people beside him who were also the higher-ups of Tianmen province. As Ho Ping appeared with the strong martial artist from Tianmen province, more strong martial artists from Tianmen province also flew up from the palace. Su Fong saw Yang Zhongjue, Qiu Lengji, Tu Yuya, and the others again. There were many familiar faces. They also saw Su Fong and felt that it was unbelievable. Su Fong was high and mighty, and when he activated his flaming cloud wings, he was like a supreme giant in this world. Everyone, although they were old friends, to both sides, they were not friends. However, they were still old friends. Su Fong bowed. Today, the Zhao nation will be destroyed. Everyone, don't follow the path of the Tianmen Saint Emperor to the end. There is still a chance to leave the Zhao nation now. I killed the previous emperor, and I can also send this emperor to the underworld. Su Fong. Shun Huangqi suddenly appeared and gathered Luo Muxue and the other strong martial artists. This person is treacherous. We can't let him go. Su Fong was still calm. Shin Huangqi, you never expected this, right? Speaking of which, you are a dog raised by the Zhao nation. Su Fong, don't believe in fate. If the heavens want to suppress me, I will pierce through the heavens. You were lucky last time. This time, you won't be so lucky. Kill. Shun Huangqi ordered more than 10 people, including several generals, Ho Ping, Yang Zhongjue, Tu Yuye, and the others. Their position was very clear. No matter what, they had to stand on the side of the Zhao nation. Ghost King Claw. He summoned his flying sword and absorbed the flaming cloud wings. Seeing more than 10 strong martial artists, his body suddenly stretched like a bow, and his whole body whistled in the night sky. Chi-Chi. His aura was like a rainbow, and his speed surpassed everyone's. His aura smashed a martial artist to death, and he flashed past more than 10 people, leaving a terrifying claw mark in the air from the Ghost King's claw. Blood was like a mist, and a few of the strongest soldiers of the Zhao nation were turned into pieces of meat on the spot. Their heads and bodies exploded, and they became a pile of rotten meat. Tu Yuye, Yang Zhongjue, Qiu Lengji, and the others were only seriously injured. Obviously, Su Fong had deliberately left them alive. Behind them, Su Fong was holding a person in his hand. It was Ho Ping, a strong martial artist from the inner house. He was like a human skin, scared out of his wits by Su Fong's strength. Let me go. I came to Tianmen province to seek revenge for my father. Ho Ping, more than 30 years ago, King Yu came to Tianmen province and secretly met with a great leader. He gathered many martial artists in Tianmen province, including my father. My father died in Qingchuan Valley. Some were killed by King Yu, and some were killed by the Tianmen Saint Emperor. I'm telling you this so that you can understand why you died. Pooh! Ho Ping was a loyal servant of the Tianmen Saint Emperor. It was impossible for him not to know about the gathering of martial artists. He was also a participant. With a wave of his aura, the Ghost King Claw split Ho Ping's life. Su Fong looked behind him at the few people who had survived. I only have enmity with the Tianmen Saint Emperor, King Yu, and the Zhao nation. I'll let you live now. From now on, we won't know each other anymore. If you don't know what's good for you, this will be your fate. I'll personally meet you. Shun Huangqi brought a few experts and left the princess, Luo Muxue, behind. He personally charged at Su Fong. You're not qualified. Su Fong held his breath and watched as Shun Huangqi brought the experts closer and closer. They also activated all kinds of magic artifacts, and their magic power formed a terrifying Qi aura. 1,000 horses of divine power. Shun Huangqi and a few others activated their magic artifacts together, and a flood of Qi aura burst out, sweeping towards Su Fong. He suddenly rose into the air, and his aura was like a river hitting the shore. When the Qi aura was 3 feet in front of him, he used the strength of his perfect physical body and punched the Qi aura. Wobble! The Qi aura exploded from the magic artifacts, and the light disappeared. The Qi aura was about to burst like bubbles. Divine valor. Even the surrounding experts of the Zhao nation saw Su Fong as a monster. With the power of one person, he was able to fight against so many experts at the same time. If he wasn't a monster, what was he? This kid's future will be extraordinary. Since he's letting us live, let's go. Tu Yuye gave Qiu Lengji and the others a look. The former experts from Tianmen province also saw that Su Fong was no longer an ordinary person. Whoosh! Whoosh! The few of them immediately took advantage of the night to escape the palace. What are you all waiting for? Get into formation and kill this person. As the current princess, Luo Muxue would not give up such a noble status. After replying to Shun Huangqi, she ordered a large number of experts to come down and kill Su Fong together. Chapter 114. Whoosh! 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 Dozens of experts rushed up from below the palace. They were all in the transcendent realm and the vast core realm. Following Luo Muxue's order, they activated their hand seals together and turned into a large number of graces. When Su Fong couldn't be distracted, the graces appeared one after another. In the distance, Crane Fairy was too worried about Su Fong. She secretly transmitted her voice. Brother, you have to survive. Luo Muxue has never treated us as friends. I'm just a beast in front of her. Don't care about our past friendship. Sister Bai, I won't die in the hands of the experts of Zhao so easily. After comforting her, Su Fong used the fire cloud steps. The moment the power of the array attacked, he immediately turned into an illusory flame and flashed past the power of the artifacts activated by Shun Huangqi and the other experts. This kind of movement technique was amazing. Moreover, the power of the flame was extremely powerful. It shook the chi shield of the artifacts back a little. Support the lords. A group of experts rushed over. There were hundreds of them. They were the experts under the command of the rebel lords. They were all experts in charge of their own areas. Some went to help the Emperor of Feathers, and most went to help the lords below who were surrounded. As a result, Shun Huangqi's attention began to be diverted. He couldn't fight with Su Fong with all his strength. Even Luo Muxue was forced to fight with the rebel forces. Whoosh! On the ground of the palace, a large number of transcendent realm soldiers of Zhao were gathering. They were strong, but they were nothing in the eyes of the experts in the sky. Whoosh! 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 Su Fong first activated the formless fire cloud saber. The burning saber fell like hailstones. Once again, a dazzling light appeared in the palace. The ground of the palace exploded and burned with a sea of fire. Under Su Fong's magical power, the transcendent realm soldiers were instantly burned to ashes. Even if there were countless transcendent and transcendent realm soldiers in Zhao, they couldn't resist Su Fong's power, which was close to that of a golden core realm expert. Some of the Great Lord's subordinates also attacked the ground from time to time. The fire shadow exploded in midair. Su Fong suddenly appeared behind Shun Huangqi and shouted, "Shun Huangqi, your opponent is me." Courting death, Shun Huangqi suddenly charged out and ordered the other experts to follow Luo Mushue's lead to fight against the Great Lords and their subordinates. He only had one thought in his mind, and that was to take Su Fong's head and hang it on the city wall after the battle. Golden Silkworm Blood Sword. The sword light followed Shun Huangqi and pounced on Su Fong. As Shun Huangqi raised his hand, the sword light pierced through the void. What an excellent magic weapon. What an excellent flying sword that has reached the level of magic weapon. Clang clang under Shun Huangqi's control. The golden flying sword with a bloody glow transformed into sword rays that filled the sky, interweaving into a large net of sword rays. This large net of sword chi was a combination of magical power and flying sword. The net of sword chi was as terrifying as a natural roar, making it impossible for people to hide their thoughts. Under Su Fong's control, the Ghost King's claw left a huge scratch mark on the ground and clashed with the net of sword chi. The claw was like a dragon swimming under the net of sword chi. Whoosh! After about a dozen exchanges, Su Fong used more of his magical power to control the Ghost King's claw. After all, a magic weapon wasn't something a vast core realm expert could use. The stronger the magical power, the more powerful the magic weapon was. The Ghost King's claw's aura was even stronger. Although Su Fong's cultivation level was lower than Shun Huangqi's, his strength was stronger. After every exchange, a fierce claw broke the net of sword chi. Shun Huangqi's flying sword was blown away along with the net of sword chi. Shun Huangqi's cultivation level was not Su Fong's match. Moreover, the golden silkworm blood sword in his hand was a magic weapon that had withstood the Ghost King's claw. Su Fong decisively attacked again. When the Ghost King's claw made more claw marks, these claw marks turned into a tornado again. Shun Huangqi used all of his strength, and the golden silkworm blood sword actually turned into several bloody sword chi. I've been cultivating for more than 100 years. I don't believe that I'm not a match for you. A kid who's only been cultivating for 10 years. Boom! The sword chi and claw marks turned into a tornado, and the two sides collided. Su Fong and Shun Huangqi rushed towards each other, and the tornado swept away the bloody sword chi. It was obvious that Su Fong had the upper hand in terms of strength. Puff! The Ghost King's claw clashed with the golden silkworm blood sword. At this moment, Shun Huangqi's head was lifted up. The golden silkworm blood sword lost its sword light and was about to fall with Shun Huangqi's corpse. Su Fong turned into a cloud of fire and caught the golden silkworm blood sword. He then openly sucked out Shun Huangqi's core and sucked the corpse in his right arm. Whoosh! With a flash, Su Fong passed by Luo Muxue and flew straight toward the sky. The battle in the sky was not on the same level as the battle on the ground. Previously, there were dozens of people fighting, but now there were only a few left besieging the Feather Emperor. Ming Wang, Lang Jun Wang, the Heaven Gate's Saint Emperor, and the two elders. Su Fong could now see that the Heaven Gate's Saint Emperor's cultivation had reached the 10th level of the vast core realm. As for these 5 experts, almost all of them were at the 10th level of the vast core realm. Yet, the Feather Emperor was able to fight against 5 of them alone, and even killed dozens of Zhao country's top experts. This was a true expert. Squeak, squeak. Just as he was approaching, there was a sudden movement in his body. Su Fong discovered that there were 3 goo worms in his flesh. They were crawling towards his skin and were faintly making strange noises towards the 6 experts in front of him. Su Fong felt that it was very strange. The goo worms had fused with his blood, and these bloodthirsty creatures would only be able to sense the blood of their master. It was almost impossible for them to sense the blood of others. He immediately asked Green Feather King, and the latter told him that there were only 2 situations for the goo worms to sense something like this. The first was when they met their master, and the second was when they met someone who had accompanied the goo worms for a long time. Even if the goo worms had not absorbed the blood of their master, they would still be able to familiarize themselves with the blood of humans after interacting with them for a long time. Could it be, after getting the answer? He looked at the 6 experts in front of him. Other than the Feather Emperor, the other 5 were all experts from Zhao country. It was impossible for them to have come into contact with the 3 goo worms. Furthermore, the goo worms were given to him by his master, Yang Yizhen. Feather Emperor. His gaze fell on the powerful and heroic Feather Emperor, who was floating in the air. This person was wearing a mask, and he could not see his face clearly. However, he focused on his advantage and released his perfect vision. Gradually, he saw some scars on the Feather Emperor's neck. When he looked at the Feather Emperor's deep eyes, he suddenly felt a sense of familiarity. Lang Jun Wang. After making up his mind, he immediately flew towards the battlefield in front of him. Lang Jun Wang and Ming Wang retreated from the battle. They were holding their artifacts, while the Feather Emperor was holding a white bone sword. It was very strange. Zhao country had 2 great princes, and one of them had already become the current emperor. Lang Jun Wang flew over furiously when he saw Su Fong. It's that traitor Su Fong. Su Fong. Sky Gate's Saint Emperor was stunned. He let the 2 black-robed elders hold back the Feather Emperor while he was surrounded by shocking green lightning. At this moment, he saw Su Fong flying over. Su Fong did not have much resentment towards Ming Wang and Lang Jun Wang. When he saw Sky Gate's Saint Emperor, he thought of what King Yu said. Sky Gate's Saint Emperor had indirectly caused his father's death. He used his fire cloud steps and arrived in front of the world-shaking peerless hero, Feather Emperor. The Feather Emperor nodded naturally. Hee. When Su Fong heard the voice and saw the familiar look in the Feather Emperor's eyes, the doubts in his heart were cleared. You are my master. The Feather Emperor waved his hand and took off his mask, revealing an ugly face that looked like a rotten corpse. My good disciple, I said that we would meet again. I would wait for you in a distant world, and I really didn't disappoint you. Feather Emperor. When the surrounding experts saw the Feather Emperor's true appearance, they were all shocked. The world-shaking Feather Emperor, who had risen up in such a short period of time, looked like a servant. Even half of his nose was gone, as if a demon had descended. Su Fong was extremely agitated and immediately knelt down. Disciple Su Fong greets my master. To think that you still recognize me as your master. The Feather Emperor raised his hand, and an aura lifted Su Fong up and pulled Su Fong to his side. He calmly looked at Ming Wang, Lang Jun Wang, Tian Shun Saint Emperor, and the 2 black-robed elders. You and I did not expect to reunite under such circumstances, and we did not have time to catch up. Today, I will complete my mission and take the heads of these people and destroy Zhao country. Sky Gate's Saint Emperor sneered. Feather Emperor, I did not expect you to be a monster." When Su Fong heard this, he was furious and pointed at him. "Sky Gate's Saint Emperor, I will settle the score with you today." The latter gradually released a murderous aura. "Su Fong, 10 years ago, you entered Tianmen province and relied on the touch the Heaven's Gate to become a genius under me. I did not treat you unfairly, did I? I don't know what I have to settle the score with you, but there is a score. I nurtured you, but you betrayed me and rebelled against the dynasty. Today, I will clean you up. Clean me up." Su Fong's cultivation techniques, treasures, and elixirs all came from Tianmen province. They were all obtained by myself. You nurtured me, but did you teach me any spells? Did you give me any resources personally? Ever since I entered Tianmen province, I only had one thought, and that was to find my father and avenge him. Su Fong spoke with conviction. More than 30 years ago, Tianmen province ordered cultivators to gather and build a rest stop in Qingchuan Valley. In reality, it was to cover for King Yu, who secretly came to Tianmen province, and my father was among them. In the end, so many people were killed by King Yu and you. I have an irreconcilable hatred for you. The Sky Gate's Saint Emperor snorted. That's true. In front of me, you are just an ant. Your father is just a dog I raised. I don't even know who your father is or what he looks like. Did I kill him? No matter what, this was arranged by me. You can't deny it, even if you want to. Whoosh! Su Fong suddenly grabbed, and King Yu's head appeared in his hand. This is your fate. You killed my Zhao clan's prince. You won't be able to leave here alive like last time. King Lang was furious. King Yu was a prince of Zhao. Being killed by an outsider was a great humiliation. Master, the Sky Gate's Saint Emperor killed my father. Let me deal with him. Su Fong bowed to Yang Yijin and walked towards the Sky Gate's Saint Emperor with a determined gaze. Feather Emperor, your disciple will die in my hands today. The Sky Gate's Saint Emperor laughed disdainfully and immediately flew to the side on his sword. Yang Yijin was very certain. That's hard to say. Tianmen's holy emperor, you must take this child's head. Once the ancestral emperor returns, you'll definitely receive the ancestral emperor's favor. The Ming King and Lang King glanced at the two experts before surrounding the Feather Emperor. 100 meters away, Su Fong and the Sky Gate's Saint Emperor slowly came to a stop. In the air above the burning palace, their figures gradually became blurry. Sky Gate's Saint Emperor, King Yu has already left. Now I will send you on your way. The Sky Gate's Saint Emperor was very doubtful. Just because you speak the truth? Although King Yu is a prince, I don't care about him at all. In the entire Zhao clan, I only care about one person, and that is the Zhao clan's ancestor Zhao Wuji. That person's magic power is boundless. If I can obtain his recognition, I will also become a gold core expert. Chapter 115. Su Fong said, I can kill King Yu, and I can also kill Zhao Wuji in the future. At this moment, the person I want to kill the most is you. The Sky Gate's Holy Emperor gradually revealed his aura as green electric currents swam around his body. You can kill King Yu, but you might not be able to kill me. Perhaps you and your master will go to the Yellow Springs together today. Staring at the green lightning, Su Fong was slightly startled. Green true heavenly lightning. The green true heavenly lightning was obtained in an ancient cave when I was young. This lightning-type divine ability is boundless. If it wasn't for the ancestral Emperor Zhao Wuji, then the one who unified this world would be the Sky Gate's Holy Emperor. You're too short-sighted. Do you think that Zhao Wuji is the strongest in this land? He has only condensed a golden core, and there are more experts who have surpassed the golden core. I thought you, the Sky Gate's Holy Emperor, were ambitious, but you only want to follow Zhao Wuji and walk the same path as him. I don't need you to evaluate my matters. Whoever laughs in the end is the real winner. How many moves can you block from me? Chi-Chi, the Sky Gate's Holy Emperor suddenly attacked and used the divine asynchronous technique. It was also an ultimate technique from Tianmen province. Like a phantom, it pounced in front of Su Fong. A bolt of green lightning pierced through space as the Sky Gate's Holy Emperor pointed at Su Fong. It was as if the heavenly Tao was angry. Flaming cloud step. Su Fong took a step forward and brushed past the green lightning. However, the Sky Gate's Holy Emperor's attacks came one after another. Another green lightning palm print blocked Su Fong's path and pressed down. Pa! With a slap of his palm, the divine power from the great perfection of his physical body shattered the green lightning palm print. Su Fong took advantage of the opportunity to dodge. The latter was very shocked, as if he didn't believe that Su Fong could shatter the green lightning palm print so easily. Furthermore, the green lightning palm print was filled with the power of thunder and lightning. Ordinary people would be affected by the green lightning palm print when they came into contact with it. The Sky Gate's Holy Emperor turned around and chased after Su Fong. He was very surprised. Your physical body is so powerful. Flaming cloud step. Divine asynchronous technique. Seeing the Sky Gate's Saint Emperor charging at him, Su Fong did not dodge. Instead, he used his footwork to meet the Sky Gate's Saint Emperor head-on. Pung, their right calves collided in the air, and both of them took a few steps back at the same time. Sky Gate's Sacred Emperor was shocked again. How did you become so strong in just 10 short years? Su Fong's expression was firm, and he had the demeanor of a tycoon. Heaven Gate's Saint Emperor, your cultivation has reached the 10th level of the vast core realm, and you've mastered quite a few divine abilities. Divine Induction, Green Heavenly Lightning, Heaven Gate's Green Thunder Formation, and Heaven Gate's Mysterious Change. Use all of them. The Sky Gate's Sacred Emperor pounced out again, and he seemed to be a little surprised. It was as if he couldn't understand how Su Fong knew about his methods. You seem to understand my divine abilities very well. He didn't know that Su Fong was related to Dao Wuliang. Back then, when he fought with Dao Wuliang, Su Fong knew about it. Later on, Dao Wuliang also told him about the approximate strength of the Sky Gate's Holy Emperor. Chi this time, Tim and Saint Emperor unleashed a sky full of thunder and lightning. When they fused together, they actually formed a huge azure lightning vortex. Dragon Snake Tornado. Su Fong immediately formed a seal this time. Divine ability against divine ability, magic power exploded. Spiritual power and magic power fused with the seal, absorbing the power of nature. Instantly, a long snake and a long dragon were formed. The dragon and the snake twisted together, forming an imposing storm. Tim and Saint Emperor struck out a few more seals, and the spinning azure lightning turned into an azure vortex of lightning, just like a spinning top. Because the spinning speed was too shocking, terrifying lightning formed under the top, and it once again clashed with Su Fong's Dragon Snake Tornado. Tim and Saint Emperor was surprised. Dragon Snake Tornado is an ordinary technique of Tianmen Province. You can actually raise it to the level of a divine ability. For Tianmen Province to produce a genius like you, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Turning something rotten into something magical, that's a true divine ability. The two tornadoes clashed, and the two tornadoes tried to tear the azure lightning vortex apart. However, the azure lightning vortex was too incredible, and it actually tore the Dragon Snake Tornado apart. Looks like the Dragon Snake Tornado can't be considered a true divine ability. Fire Wing Dragon Snake. At this time, he struck out a different seal, and a new Dragon Snake Tornado was formed. This time, a large amount of flames surged out, and the Dragon Snake Tornado turned into a fire dragon and a fire snake that clashed together. When the azure lightning vortex tore apart the tornado, the fire-winged dragon snake blocked the azure lightning vortex. Waves of flame suppressed the azure lightning, and the azure lightning vortex's speed became slower and slower. At this time, lightning and fire were both terrifying forces of nature. This also made the battle between Tim and Saint Emperor and Su Fong much more powerful than ordinary vast core realm experts. Controlling the power of nature was no longer an ability that a vast core realm cultivator should have. Tianmin Azure Lightning Formation. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Tianmin's Saint Emperor, who was confident of victory, revealed an angry look. A prefecture lord couldn't even kill one of his disciples. Swoosh, swoosh, a great divine ability appeared. Tianmin's Saint Emperor wasn't the strongest among all the prefecture lords in Zhao country. However, he was the only one who became the strongest beside the Zhao Emperor. This meant that he had been hiding his strength all this time. Formless Fire Cloud Blade. Tianmin Azure Lightning Formation was this divine ability that had injured Dao Wuliang. Su Feng knew how powerful this technique was, and that meant Tianmin's Saint Emperor was using his full strength. Therefore, he also used his great divine ability. Illusory Fire Cloud Blade. 2 fire cloud blades suddenly appeared in his hands. They were 2 burning flames. At the same time, shadows of azure lightning portals fell from the sky. Using the fire cloud steps, Su Feng dodged the falling portals in time. If he was hit by one of these portals, he would definitely be severely injured. While dodging, he waved his fire cloud blade with both hands and hacked at the portals. The portals were shaken open, but they still couldn't be destroyed. Roar! More than 10 azure lightning portals surrounded Su Feng, and they were shaking quickly. The terrifying, tearing azure lightning shot towards Su Feng. Su Feng was like an illusory flame, dancing in the array with the azure lightning. The fire cloud blade shattered the azure lightning, but the azure lightning couldn't be completely destroyed. Waving his fire cloud blade with both hands, he was always able to shatter the azure lightning the moment it hit him. At this moment, Su Feng's every step was like walking on thin ice. Tianmin Mystic Change. Tianmin's Saint Emperor was outside the array, and his face was covered in cold sweat. He didn't expect Su Feng to be able to move so freely in the array. I feel that if I don't kill this kid this time, I won't be able to kill him in the future. He's only at the 4th level of the vast core realm, but his strength is close to a golden core realm expert. Su Feng, who was inside the array, couldn't see what Tianmin's Saint Emperor was thinking. Tianmin's Saint Emperor was determined to kill him, and he once again used his great divine ability, Tianmin Mystic Change. His figure flashed, and he actually merged with one of the portals. Blinking his eyes, he couldn't determine which portal the Tianmin's Saint Emperor was in. He only knew that the azure lightning portals were spinning faster and faster. Illusory Fire Cloud. Su Feng also felt that something was wrong. The portals were changing too quickly. At this moment, other than the portals, he couldn't see the outside world. He was already in an extremely dangerous situation. Since that was the case, he also fully activated the illusory fire cloud. Using the spiritual fire in his right arm as the source, a large amount of burning blade lights began to explode in the array. At this moment, the Qingmen's Azure Lightning Array wasn't dealing with Su Feng. Instead, it was dealing with a burning and exploding spiritual fire. I didn't expect that a powerhouse like Tianmin's Saint Emperor couldn't do anything to Su Feng. 1,000 meters away, Lang Junwang and Ming Wang appeared. A black-robed old man was actually killed by Yang Yizhen. This scared the other old man so much that he didn't dare to act rashly. Yang Yizhen was also injured. There were a few wounds on his body, but fortunately, they weren't serious. When he heard Lang Junwang mention Su Feng, he also looked at the distant sky. Yang Yizhen muttered to himself, "Your growth exceeded my expectations. I thought that I was the only one advancing silently. I didn't expect you to catch up so quickly." Lang Junwang looked down at the imperial palace. Seeing that Zhao country's situation wasn't good, he suddenly ordered Ming Wang and the black-robed old man, "You all retreat." Yang Yizhen was unusually cautious. Facing Lang Junwang, he was already the current emperor. Lang Jun Emperor, your Zhao royal family owes too much blood. I want to find Zhao Wuji and take back what belongs to me. At this point, Lang Junwang actually took off his dragon robe and crown. He faced Yang Yizhen in a yellow robe. "I thought that I wouldn't have to use my final trump card, but I didn't expect you to be so strong. No wonder the Ancestor Emperor asked me to be on guard against you at all times. Zhao Wuji, Yang Yizhen's gaze froze. The last time the Ancestor Emperor defeated you, you used the teleportation talisman to escape. Since he didn't kill you, the Ancestor Emperor naturally expected that you would make a move on my Zhao country. Hence, when he left with the immortals from Celestial Sealing Sect, he left behind the foundation of the Zhao country. It was meant to be used to kill a rebellious expert like you. However, I won't use my own strength to kill you. Your strength is at the 10th stage of the vast Dan realm. All right, I will personally send you, the Emperor, on your way. Peng, the current Emperor. The current Emperor. Two peerless experts were at the peak of Zhao country's imperial palace. Under the gazes of all the powerful experts and countless soldiers, they fought in the air. In just a short while, a destructive chi aura swept towards the imperial palace. Master, you are my master. Within the flames of the heavenly gate's green lightning array, Su Fong used his great perfection stage ability. He roughly saw Yang Yizhen and Lang Jun Wang exchanging blows and felt greatly encouraged. Chi. Within the formation, countless tyrannical bolts of green lightning were trying to suppress the flames, especially Su Fong. The green true heavenly lightning was powerful, but the illusory fire cloud that Su Fong cultivated was also incredible. It was even more profound than the green true heavenly lightning. However, it was the specialty of the Heavenly Gates Saint Emperor. He had been studying this ability for a long time. On the other hand, Su Fong had only cultivated the illusory fire cloud for a short period of time. Overall, it was not as good as the green true heavenly lightning. Boom! At this moment, the doors that were formed could no longer be seen clearly. The insides of the doors were filled with tyrannical green lightning attacks. Suddenly, a door came crashing towards Su Fong from behind. Su Fong's hearing was amazing. Although his vision was limited, he could still hear the movement. His great perfection stage ability showed his advantage. He turned around in time and slashed with his fire cloud saber. Bang! This saber was powerful and heavy, and it blocked the green lightning door in time. 222. Countless dancing green lightning suddenly lost their center of gravity. Su Fong heard the doors crashing towards him from different directions. This was the power of the array. It was too strange and unpredictable, making it impossible to guard against. Boom, boom, boom. Su Fong could only control the spiritual fire around him. A wave of aura spread out, and the spiritual fire formed a circle of fire that blasted out in all directions. Swish! Behind him to the right should be a blind spot. Just as Su Fong was using all his strength to deal with the green lightning doors crashing towards him from all directions, a lightning figure suddenly appeared from a door behind him to the right. It was Qianmen's Saint Emperor. He stabbed at Su Fong with his sword. Bang! This sword, combined with the surrounding green lightning doors and the previous attacks of the array, made it impossible for anyone to dodge Qianmen's Saint Emperor's attack. It could also be considered a sneak attack. In a breath, Su Fong did not move, and Qianmen's Saint Emperor's flying sword did not pierce Su Fong's body. Just as the flying sword was about to hurt Su Fong, a golden defense formed behind him. Indestructible golden body Qianmen's Saint Emperor shook his head fiercely. Impossible. How did you know my movements? How did you know which green lightning door I was hiding in? Chapter 116. All the breathing in the world suddenly stopped at the moment when the sharp, immortal sword pierced the indestructible golden body. The sacred emperor of Tianmen's face was extremely distorted as he stared at the indestructible golden body that protected Su Fong in disbelief. Then, he looked at Su Fong's familiar yet unfamiliar face, as if he had returned to Tianmen province. It was like the first time the sacred emperor of Tianmen had descended, summoning Su Fong with his primordial spirit ability in the inner palace. The Su Fong in front of him was only a genius, an elite disciple created by Tianmen province. The sacred emperor of Tianmen had seen countless people, so he was sure that Su Fong would have great achievements in the future. But at that time, he never would have thought that a few years later, the disciple who once bowed in front of him who looked weak and weak, would compete with him today. His strength and divine abilities were not weaker than his. Sacred Emperor of Tianmin, I have an ability that mortals can't have. When you used your divine ability and fused with the formation, although I couldn't see you, I could hear your heartbeat, your breathing, and the sound of your seals. You want to sneak an attack on me? Dream on. At this moment, Su Fong turned around, and the green lightning doors around him were blown away by the illusory fire cloud. Su Fong, don't believe in fate, don't believe in the heavens. Ever since I entered Tianmin province, I've never thought of relying on Tianmin province and relying on you to become an expert. My current achievements have nothing to do with you, so I don't feel that I owe you anything. It's not a betrayal of Tianmin province, and I have a clear conscience. You're basically eating my food and living with me, and you still have a clear conscience. The sacred emperor of Tianmin saw from the bottom of his heart that Su Fong was a traitor. At this moment, Su Fong took out the falling moon blade. It was only a spirit treasure, but it exuded a domineering aura. I have to avenge my father's death. The owner of this blade is your father. The sacred emperor of Tianmin sized up the falling moon blade. It seems that you still remember my father. Die. Only your head, King Yu's head, can comfort my father's spirit in heaven. Whoosh! What Su Fong did not expect was that the sacred emperor of Tianmin actually turned around and fled. Su Fong immediately used fire cloud steps to chase after him. Cathy Sky Gate's sage emperor turned around and threw out a few rune talismans. Suddenly, countless bolts of green lightning exploded. At the same time, he grabbed a teleportation talisman. Under the cover of a large amount of green lightning, he disappeared into thin air. He used his indestructible golden body and forcefully smashed a path through the green lightning. However, he could not see the Sky Gate's Saint Emperor. He angrily roared at the sky, which had just brightened. Sky Gate's Saint Emperor. They wanted to rush up, but it was impossible to determine the direction of teleportation talismans. Unless they were a golden core master, no one knew just how many teleportation talismans the Saint's sovereign had. Tianmin's sacred emperor, the Zhao royal family will not let you off. The Tianmin holy emperor escaped. Su Fong didn't expect that. Luo Muxue and some other cultivators who knew the Tianmin Saint Emperor were also shocked. Such a powerful cultivator actually fled in disdain. Su Fong, this king will not let you harm his majesty. Ming Wang brought a black-robed old man with him. Dozens of vast core realm cultivators flew up from below and blocked Su Fong's path. You think you can block my path? Su Fong put away his falling moon blade. He had wanted to use it to kill the Tianmin holy emperor, but he had run away faster than a rabbit. The surrounding cultivators flew into a rage. They were like wild beasts that wanted nothing more than to tear Su Fong apart. You dare ignore the garrison king? Su Fong swept his gaze over the crowd of cultivators. The garrison king, the Zhao country's emperor, died by my hands. A king is worthless in front of me. If you follow him, you will only die. I am a descendant of the Violet Fortune Kingdom's imperial family from 3,000 years ago. The Zhao country and I have a grudge of exterminating their country, slaughtering their clan, and killing my father. Ming Wang took out several flying swords. So it's a remnant of the Violet Fortune Kingdom. Kill. Flame cloud steps. It seemed that the Zhao country would not give up no matter what. He activated the illusory flame cloud, and his entire body was covered in flames. With the might of the river-setting sun, he rushed towards the dozens of experts. Pa pa pa. Su Fongdu was too fast and too strange. The experts who were protecting Ming Wang saw Su Fongdu right in front of them at first glance, then Su Fongdu at the second glance. Su Fongdu's footwork trembled, and flames surged towards the dozens of experts like waves of a river. True fire. This is true fire. The flames pressed down on the experts like a mountain. They activated their spirit treasures or artifacts to block the aura, but they were instantly enveloped by the flames. Bang, bang, bang. Su Fong used the flame cloud steps again. His flaming leg technique swept across the crowd. If they weren't shaken to death, then they were burned to death by the flames. Even spirit treasures and artifacts were surrounded by the flames. Sword formation kill. Dozens of flying swords attacked from behind Huiyin. Ming Wang stepped on one of the flying swords. He activated his magic power, and each of the flying swords reached the level of a divine ability. This scene was familiar to Su Fang. Back in the day, before he had mastered all sorts of techniques, he had also wanted to control a large number of flying swords to deal with powerful enemies. Ming Wang took out another immortal artifact and used it behind the sword formation. Layers of sword light pierced out. The sword light pushed the sword formation, wanting to cut Su Fangda into 8 pieces. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Formless flame cloud, Saber Ming Wang's strength was as strong as Heaven's Gates, Saint Emperor. In addition, he had so many artifacts. However, in terms of divine abilities, he was much weaker than Heaven's Gates, Saint Emperor. After all, as a king, how could he persist in cultivation all the time? A large number of burning saber lights landed on the sword formation or the sword chi behind it. At this moment, Su Fang swallowed the core embryo that he obtained from killing Shen Huangqi, and the spirit chi in his body recovered once again. The saber lights formed a large area of explosion, covering the flying swords and sword chi. Ming Wang had a body full of spirit chi, but he focused on artifacts and not divine abilities. Therefore, under the attack of the illusory flame cloud saber, he was blown away by the flames and fell towards the palace. It seemed that even if he didn't die, he was severely injured. Luo Muxue hurriedly led people to protect Ming Wang in midair. No one dared to go near the flames on his body. Luo Muxue glared at Su Fang, full of resentment. However, she knew that she was not Su Fang's opponent. She ordered a large number of experts to activate the formation, and various attacks swept across the sky. Using the wings of Fire Cloud, Su Fang dodged the attacks and continued to rise into the sky, avoiding the power of the formation. He sent a message to Bai Ling. "Sister Bai, it's dangerous here. You should leave the palace first." Buzz. While he was communicating with Bai Ling, a golden light suddenly burst out from the dark clouds in the sky. It was not an artifact or divine ability. This golden light immediately dispersed the smoke formed by the flames of war. Countless people looked up and saw rings of golden light burst out from Ming Wang's body. Su Fang was confused. That is, Golden Core expert. Many of the lords below, and even the experts of Zhao country, were shocked. They were full of fear towards Ming Wang, who released the golden light. Su Fang was the most shocked. Golden Core King Lang Jun has condensed a golden core. Green Feather King's deep voice came from within his body. "Brat, you have to be careful. You've reached the peak of the vast core realm. If you meet that gold core warrior up there, you'll have a tough battle. Once the gold core is formed, the magical power will automatically flow into your body from your divine aperture and form a gold core barrier with your spiritual power. It will also form many powerful defenses in your body. Furthermore, the divine ability of a gold core warrior is completely different from that of a vast core warrior. A hot-blooded man will fight. Even if he has condensed a golden core, he must be killed today." Green Feather King also had good intentions, reminding Su Fang to be careful. However, Su Fang had already made up his mind. This was the best time to destroy Zhao country. Ming Wang was the emperor, and as long as he lived, Zhao country would exist. High in the sky, waves of destructive qi formed a power that covered the sky. For the people and cultivators in the imperial city, it felt like a disaster was about to befall them. In fact, it was Yang Yijin and Ming Wang who had condensed a golden core, exchanging blows again and again above the 9 heavens. A battle of magical powers was already beyond the imagination of vast core realm cultivators. Cultivators who have condensed a golden core are called the Heavenly Fusion Realm. In ancient times, it was called the Golden Core Realm. Condensing a golden core means merging with heaven and earth, hence the name Heavenly Fusion. Legend has it that once a golden core is formed, one can live for thousands of years, or even longer. Green Feather King is right. If I fight with Ming Wang, I will definitely be at a disadvantage. To compete with him, I need a special power. Staring at the sky, he had no choice, because the person fighting with Ming Wang was his master. He could not leave alone. While he was in a dilemma, Xian Huang suddenly spoke. Master, Xian Huang can help you increase your strength. With a great commander, Xian Huang can absorb the great commander's demonic qi and merge with Master to increase your strength. Xian Huang's Six Paths Pagoda was a king-grade magic tool. It was indeed Su Fang's trump card. Isn't it only possible to increase my strength by restoring my original body or turning it into a life treasure? And if I release Green Feather King's power, I won't be discovered by the people of Celestial Sealing Sect. With a Grand Commander, Xian Huang can use its own ability to change Green Feather King's demonic qi into a completely new kind of demonic qi. It's similar to extracting Dao Wuliang's power in the past. Master can use his demonic qi to restrain that golden core condensed heavenly fusion expert. Great! Then I can use my demonic qi to suppress Ming Wang's magical powers and magical powers. I can cooperate with Master to kill him. Demonic qi, this was a special ability he had. Thinking of this, he immediately stepped on his flying sword and approached the sky above. Feather King, how about it? Can you still be as confident as before to take this emperor's head? A terrifying, destructive qi aura lifted the dark clouds in the sky. Ming Wang, who was emitting a faint golden light, happened to see Su Fang flying over. However, he did not put in his eyes. Instead, he mocked and ridiculed Yang Yizhen. Yang Yizhen stopped Su Fang. Fang, you're not his opponent. Leave. But after hearing that, Su Fang still rode on his flying sword and leaped up high. He appeared on one side. Master, let us work together today to kill Ming Wang. This is a heaven-sent opportunity. Disciple also has a way to suppress his magical powers and magical powers. I can help Master kill him. A golden core realm expert that can suppress this emperor. How can you imagine the power of a golden core? After saying that, Ming Wang continuously formed seals. Whoosh, 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 hundreds and thousands of finger seals appeared around Ming Wang. The finger seals condensed into countless finger seals. The area was as long as 100 meters, forming a long river of finger seals. With a wave of his left hand, a long river swept towards Yang Yizhen. Another long river of finger seals rushed towards Su Fang. Formless demonic qi. Su Fang used the fire cloud steps. This time, he did not use the illusory fire cloud. Instead, he used the illusory fire cloud technique to activate another kind of power in his body, the demonic qi. Demon Banishing Pagoda. Shadows of pagodas filled with demonic qi fell from the too long river of finger seals. Ming Wang retreated and frowned. Demonic qi. So it's demonic qi. Good. Yang Yizhen was also shocked. He clapped his hands and cheered. The pagoda shadows suppressed the long river of finger seals, sending all the finger seals flying. The entire long river was also shattered into pieces by the demonic qi released by the demon banishing pagoda. Su Fang then struck out a series of seals, and even more demonic qi turned into the demon banishing pagoda, forming the shape of the Xian Huang Six Paths Pagoda. He then pounced towards King Lang. The demonic qi can restrain his skills and arcane energy. Master, take this chance to attack. All right. Yang Yizhen flashed towards Ming Wang. He could clearly see that the magical powers and aura that Ming Wang used were being suppressed by the demon banishing pagoda. The demonic qi seemed to want to swallow his aura. Chapter 117. The demonic qi had an unexpected effect. As the pagoda shadow spewed out demonic qi, suppressing all of King Lang Jun's arcane energy and skills, the current expert Yang Yizhen unleashed a barrage of punches. Layers upon layers of qi orifice seals formed an attack that was 100 meters wide, pressing down on King Lang Jun. The sword qi that King Lang released was suppressed by the demon subduing pagoda. The demonic qi eventually dispersed the sword qi, making King Lang unable to attack freely. However, he bellowed, "You are not a match for a golden core expert." Su Fong had underestimated his opponent. King Lang did not use any divine arts this time. Instead, he used the strength of a heavenly union cultivator. Like a ferocious tiger searching for a sheep, he forcefully opened a path through the encirclement of demonic qi. Then he stared at Yang Yijin's fist-seal divine art and raised his hand. His palm strike did not have any magic power or divine arts. Instead, it was the strength of his body that transformed into divine power. With lightning speed, it shattered the fist-seal divine art. Obviously, his strength was stronger than Yang Yijin's. However, although Yang Yijin had yet to condense a golden core, he had some special power that allowed him to be as strong as a heavenly union cultivator. Xian Wang, can't you let King Green Feather release a stronger demonic qi? King Lang's strength shocked Su Fong. He needed to release a stronger demonic qi and immediately communicated with Xian Wang. Xian Wang immediately replied, "Master, your cultivation is too weak. You can't withstand King Green Feather's true power. Plus, Xian Wang is yet to fully fuse with you, so it can only release this much power. There's another way. Master can summon Xian Wang out and suppress it with your true body. He is a golden core cultivator. That Zhao clan's ancestor, Zhao Wuji, allowed him to stay behind to guard the clan. What if he has more terrifying means? What if it affects you?" Su Fong rejected Xuan Huang's suggestion. The best way was to release King Green Feather and let him kill King Lang in one move. But wasn't this a joke? Illusory fire cloud. He could only continue to activate his demonic qi and fuse it with the illusory fire cloud. Flames formed from demonic qi and spiritual fire appeared around King Lang. Clang! Yang Yijin flicked his finger. Together with his demonic qi, he pounced towards Lang Junwang again. Like a volcanic eruption, a ray of light swept towards Lang Junwang. Among the rays of light was a circular magical treasure. Taking advantage of the momentum, Lang Junwang spat out a flying sword. This flying sword was not simple. It was a mid-grade mystic instrument. Like a silver snake, it pierced through the wheel that Yang Yijin threw out. The round wheel was also a rare and incomparably precious mid-grade artifact. The two powerful artifacts continuously clashed in the air, creating a frightening qi field that extended towards the imperial city. The two sides fought like this for a full 3 days. During this time, the palace had been razed to the ground. The experts of the state of Zhao and the forces of the various lords were all waiting for the result of the battle in the sky. It was daytime again. Su Fong could feel that his spiritual and arcane energy were almost depleted. Large amounts of demonic qi and spiritual fire were still suppressing Lang Junwang's skills. Lang Junwang is really strong. My master and I have joined hands to deal with him, but we can only suppress him slightly. There is no guarantee that we can kill him. Yang Yijin transmitted his voice. "Fong, don't be anxious. We have exhausted him, but at least we can work together. He can only rely on himself. Even if we can't kill him, we can still defeat him and make him leave." Maybe it was because the battle had dragged on for too long, or maybe Lang Junwang could not hold on any longer. He actually made the first move. Ancestor Emperor. He thought that Lang Junwang was going to perform an extremely powerful skill. Who knew that Lang Junwang would put his hands together and call out the name of Zhao country's ancestor emperor, Zhao Wuji. Yang Yijin's expression was solemn. In a flash, he came beside Su Fong and protected Su Fong with his powerful aura. Could it be that Zhao Wuji did not leave? If the celestial sealing sect left, Zhao Wuji would definitely leave as well. He must have left. Zhao Wuji must have left behind some kind of power to protect the state of Zhao. Seeing Yang Yijin standing in front of him, Su Fong suddenly felt like he had returned to the time when he was at Purple Chi Mountain. Yang Yijin was just like this, standing in front of him like an ancient mountain. Buzz buzz. Lang Junwang finally used his last resort. He originally thought that he would become the strongest existence in this territory after advancing to the Heaven Union realm and condensing his golden core. He was wrong. He did not expect the Feather Emperor and Su Fong to have such strength. If he did not kill the two of them in front of the world's experts and soldiers of the state of Zhao, the state of Zhao would lose its prestige in this territory. Without prestige, the state of Zhao would naturally cease to exist. Suddenly, a bronze figure slowly emerged from between Lang Junwang's eyebrows. Ancestor Emperor. In the ruins 1,000 feet below, Luo Muxue and the rest were protecting Ming Wang. There was also a large army behind them. At this moment, Ming Wang saw the green figure and was filled with respect. Countless soldiers and experts knelt down before the green figure. Even the great lord's men were extremely uneasy. Master, this is the #1 expert of the state of Zhao, Zhao Wuji. In the sky, Su Fong stared at the green figure. The green light faded, and it turned out to be a bronze figure. It was a middle-aged man. He did not have any breath of life, but even so, he exuded a lofty and murderous aura. Lang Junwang nodded. This is Zhao Wuji. This person has lived for more than 3,000 years and has cultivated for a long time. After unifying the various countries, he disappeared. I thought that he was no longer alive. He hid his identity and went to the southern border and the dark forest many times. In the end, he relied on himself to condense his golden core and became a Heaven Union realm expert. After that, he hid in the imperial palace of the state of Zhao. No one knew that he was still alive. Su Fong continued, I feel that this Zhao Wuji is very strong, very strong. This is a puppet refined by Zhao Wuji. It is also a magic treasure. It is very special. It is a magic treasure refined according to Zhao Wuji's body shape, blood qi, various materials, formations, and divine abilities. Only someone with the same blood qi as Zhao Wuji can activate the puppet. I heard that there are many ways to activate the puppet, but the most commonly used method is to use high-grade spirit stones. When the spirit stones are injected into the puppet will have spiritual energy. Together with the divine abilities and seals in the body, it will become a human-shaped puppet that can release divine abilities. Yang Yizhen's face froze when he said this. He looked at Su Fong. This puppet that Zhao Wuji left behind might have the strength of a Heaven Union realm expert. It is also not restrained by demon qi. A magic treasure is a magic treasure, a cold-blooded weapon. Leave. Such a powerful master. Let's leave together. Fong is confident that I can condense a gold core within a few years. When I reach the Heaven Union realm, I will definitely be able to destroy this puppet. Su Fong was startled. He looked at Yang Yizhen in surprise. He did not expect Zhao Wuji's puppet to be so terrifying. I cannot leave. Yang Yizhen shook his head resolutely. His facial expression could not be seen because his face was full of scars. He could only see the changes in his eyebrows and eyes. I have my own mission. I owe too much in this life. This is the best chance. I must fight with all my strength. If you don't leave, Fong will not leave either. You and I, master and disciple, will fight side by side. Your strength has already reached the peak of the vast core realm, and the opponent is a gold core expert. Master has also reached the Heaven Union realm. You can't help by staying here. Go. Don't hesitate and distract Master. Don't blame yourself for being useless. You have only cultivated for a little more than 10 years, and Master is very happy that you have such achievements today. Yang Yizhen pressed Su Fong's shoulder again and resolutely turned around to walk towards King Lang. Xian Huang also advised, Master, your master is right. With your current strength, you're not a match for that puppet. Kid, that puppet has reached the 6th layer of the Heaven Union realm, which means that the puppet's strength is at least 10 times stronger than yours. You're definitely not a match for that puppet. Even King Green Feather spoke up. Su Fong shook his head decisively. Even if I'm not a match for it, I can't just ignore it. He is my master, my family. My parents have long passed away, and my grandfather has also left me. Am I just going to watch Master leave me like this? Master! Xian Huang shook his head. Good. This king has seen a different kind of human today. King Green Feather suddenly sighed. His next words ignited Su Fong's confidence. Compared to life, Is life more important? Since that is the case, let Xian Huang stimulate this king's strength with all his strength. Borrowing this king's strength and your physical body, it won't be a big problem to break that puppet. Su Fang immediately pointed out the pros and cons, but wouldn't that expose your aura to the immortal sealing sect? If you die, this king will always be suppressed in the magic treasure. If you die, what's the point of keeping the magic treasure? Even if the immortal sealing sect senses this king's aura, they won't be able to come in a short time. It will take about half a month for them to reach Zhao. At that time, we can just hide. Even if the immortal sealing sect detects our aura, we can still escape. There will always be hope for survival. It is better than risking our lives here. Xian Huang, get ready. Su Fang immediately agreed. It will take some time. Master, step back a bit. With Xian Huang's reminder, Su Fang flew back, seemingly really leaving Yang Yizhen. Once they were 10,000 meters away, Su Fang sat on his flying sword and relaxed his body. This king will do his best to let you absorb as much energy as possible. Green Feather King began to release his energy from within the pagoda. Xian Huang activated his main body's ability. Through his right arm's spirit vein space, the energy from Green Feather King and the pagoda poured into Su Fang's meridians. Boom! In just a few breaths' time, terrifying golden light erupted from the clouds in front of them. Zhao Wuji's puppet was a steel monster. Under Lang Jun Wang's control, it smashed apart Yang Yizhen's divine ability with a single punch, forcing Yang Yizhen to retreat. Yang Yizhen, one move is enough to heavily injure you. Die! The puppet numbly charged at Yang Yizhen. The two of them had already reached the point where they were fighting for their lives. Even a single breath could lead to the danger of death. Yang Yizhen unleashed his full strength, and a circular enchanted item shot out at the puppet. Thousand Mass Wheel. Clang. Lang Jun Wang changed his hand seals. Zhao Wuji's puppet waved its fist, directly using its fist to block the circular enchanted item. The Thousand Mass Wheel constantly changed shape, but it was still forced back by Zhao Wuji's puppet. The puppet was not a human, but an enchanted item, an ordinary enchanted item. This was the power that Zhao Wuji's ancestor had left behind to guard the Zhao dynasty. It definitely had the power to suppress the countless experts in this territory. Lang Jun Wang smiled and formed hand seals, controlling Zhao Wuji's puppet. Step by step, he followed the puppet as it struck the Thousand Mass Wheel and approached Yang Yizhen. Below in the ruined imperial city, Zhao's experts raised their arms and cheered. Clearly, they saw that Yang Yizhen was not the current emperor's match. Zhao's morale was greatly boosted. On the other side, the various feudal lords and many other experts were anxiously waiting. The battle in the sky was beyond their ability to interfere. They couldn't help Feather Emperor, so they could only hope that Feather Emperor could defeat Zhao's emperor in the end. Boom! Boom! High up in the SKYs, the puppet and the Thousand Mass Wheel clashed. Each collision was like thunder in spring, able to shatter anything. The deafening sound spread further and further. It could be heard even from 100 miles away. Chapter 118. Su Fang, who was 10,000 meters away, felt as though his mind was about to explode. Be it Lang Jun King or Yang Yizhen's strength, he was unable to catch up to them. He was too worried about his master's safety, so he ordered Xian Huang to release its aura faster. High up in the sky, the wind and clouds changed, and explosions occurred one after another. Feather Emperor, I'm very curious. You've only been the lord of Great Jade Mountain for a few decades. How did you manage to cultivate such strength? Yang Yizhen's aura was getting weaker and weaker as the Qianjun wheel was being attacked by Zhao Wuji's puppet. Lang Jun King floated to the back, feeling very proud. He did not seem to want to kill Yang Yizhen easily, but slowly torture him to death. Zhao Wuji's puppet was unharmed even after being hit by the Qianjun wheel. They were both magic tools, but the puppet was obviously stronger than the Qianjun wheel. With such a divine tool in Zhao country's hands, wouldn't they be able to dominate the world forever? How boring. Feather Emperor, you're the biggest threat to Zhao country, but I feel pity for you, hero. I can't bear to kill you. I'd rather die than be friends with Zhao Country. Haha, you still have a choice. You can submit to Zhao Country, and I'll make you a duke. How about that? Your cultivation is not easy to come by. That won't work on me. You don't know what's good for you. That's all I have to say. Since you and I have nothing in common, I'll tear you apart in front of everyone. Lang Jun King was talking to Yang Yizhen like an old friend just a moment ago. But in the next second, Zhao Wuji's puppet's speed increased tenfold. Pooh! Strength. Absolute strength, of course, was not Lang Jun King's strength, but Zhao Country's ancestor, Zhao Wuji. The puppet suddenly stopped in front of Yang Yizhen and sent him flying with a palm strike, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. Yang Yizhen, who lost his balance, ignored his injuries and used his magic tool to protect himself. Qianjun Wheel, the second palm strike. Because Lang Jun King realized that the puppet's palm strike did not take Yang Yizhen's life, he was surprised and furious. Without thinking, he used all his strength to control the puppet and sent another palm strike. The 1,000 mass will returned just in time to block the puppet's palm strike. With a rumbling sound, the majestic magical item was sent flying by the puppet's palm strike. Zhao Wuji's puppet's aura. Master, formless fire cloud saber. Yang Yizhen, who had lost the protection of the 1,000 mass wheel, had to face the palm strike of Zhao Wuji's puppet with his body alone. Even if he didn't die, he would be left with half his life. Suddenly, a large amount of demonic chi saber light exploded in front of Yang Yizhen. The pagoda shadows, in particular, landed on the attacking puppets, forcing them to slow down time after time. At this moment, Su Fong was standing in front of Yang Yizhen, who could no longer attack. As soon as he saw that Yang Yizhen's body was covered with scars, he felt as if a knife was twisting in his heart. Yang Yizhen was pleasantly surprised. He shouted angrily, why are you back? Why haven't you left yet? Use the remaining 2 teleportation talismans. Disciple will not abandon master like this. Su Fong turned around. At this moment, between his skin and his muscles, one could see layers of demonic chi defenses. Furthermore, Yang Yizhen was shocked to discover that Su Fong had the strength to fight against the puppet. Be careful of that puppet. It's really tyrannical. When he arrived behind Su Fong, it seemed that his injury had reached its limit. Within Su Fong's mind, Xianhuang urgently said, Master, he still hasn't reached his strongest state. Why did you attack? If I don't protect Master, then I might lose him. Su Fong's body released even more demonic chi. Combined with the illusion fire cloud, it was like a demonic flame was burning in Su Fong's body. Master, let's go. Even if we can't destroy Zhao, we still have a chance to use the Spirit Snake Saber. Su Fong decisively made his decision. While the demonic chi flames were still burning in the air, he still had a chance to leave. He took out a teleportation talisman and prepared to crush it. Jia. At this moment, he could clearly see where the puppet was. However, a bronze sword pierced through the demonic chi flames. It was so fast that he couldn't react to it. It stabbed through Su Fong's defenses. With a bang, Su Fong and Yang Yizhen were sent flying at the same time. Moreover, a hole was pierced through the defense condensed from demonic aura on Su Fong's chest. If it wasn't for the Green Feather King and the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda's defenses, this sword would have killed Su Fong. Su Fong coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. When he saw the bronze immortal sword flying over, he knew that it was Zhao Wuji's puppet. Without hesitation, he activated the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. The Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda flashed and instantly grew to 300 meters tall. At first glance, it looked like a gold and silver pagoda. Su Fong activated the spirit vein in his right arm with all his strength. As a king great immortal artifact, how could Su Fong, a vast core realm cultivator, use more power? He could only use the spirit vein. Clang! The bronze immortal sword slashed down on the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. The shockwave from the collision spread out in all directions. Any vast core realm expert would have been turned to dust by the shockwave. As expected of a king-grade immortal artifact, it wasn't damaged even after being hit by the immortal sword. Su Fong activated the Xianhuang Pagoda with all his strength. The bronze immortal sword turned into a puppet again. After passing through the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda and dodging the pagoda, it attacked Su Fong from the side. Lang Junwang was shocked for a moment. However, he saw through the clues and activated the puppet again. I didn't expect you to have a king-grade immortal artifact. Unfortunately, it's damaged and you don't have the strength to activate it. How can you be faster than a puppet? The Six Paths Pagoda quickly came back to stop the puppet. Master, there's only one way now. Release the green Feather King. With his strength, he can crush the puppet in one move and turn Zhao Country's imperial city into ruins. Su Fong protected Yang Yijin and kept retreating, but once I summon the green Feather King, the Celestial Sealing Sect will definitely sense its aura. When they come back, they won't give up until they find the green Feather King. At this time, Zhao Wuji's puppet had split into two identical puppets. Although they didn't look as strong as the main body, they weren't weak at all. They didn't give Su Fong any time to escape. Fonger! With a bang, Su Fong was about to suck him and Yang Yijin into the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. That way, the puppet wouldn't be able to do anything. However, Yang Yijin suddenly pressed a palm on Su Fong's back. The only way now is to destroy Zhao Wuji's puppet. Otherwise, Zhao Country will keep pestering us. We won't be able to escape. Su Fong suddenly felt a familiar aura enter his body. Master! Xianhuang was pleasantly surprised. Master! It's the aura of a magic treasure spirit vein. Furthermore, it's the same aura as the spirit vein in your right arm. How is this possible? Su Fong controlled the Six Paths Pagoda to release layers of pagoda, shadows, to attack the three puppets. However, he could only stall for time. When he heard Xianhuang's words, his body couldn't help but tremble. Carefully sensing it, it was indeed a familiar magic treasure spirit vein that was entering his body. Su Fong separated his divine sense and asked in disbelief, Master, how do you have my family Su's spirit vein? But Yang Yijin didn't answer. Instead, he sent all the spirit vein's energy into Su Fong's body. Xianhuang then said something that made Su Fong feel as if he was struck by thunder. Master, Xianhuang just sensed your master's blood aura. It's the same as yours. He is also a member of your family, Su. How is this possible? His body was filled with the familiar aura of the spirit vein, and it was rushing to his right arm. Xianhuang said, with this spirit vein, Master, once you fuse with it, it means that you have fused with Xianhuang one step further. This way, you'll be able to use more of Xianhuang's power. Shattering that puppet won't be a problem. After a moment of silence, Yang Yijin trembled and spat out a large amount of blood. Fong Air, use all your strength to fight the enemy. You have a peerless magic treasure in hand. Shattering that puppet won't be a problem. Master, tell me, who are you and why do you have my family Su's treasure? Su Fong wasn't in the mood to fight at this time. His mind was filled with scenes of meeting Yang Yijin. Why is his blood aura the same as mine? Why does he have the family Su's treasure? Why did it appear at Purple Chi Mountain? Inside the falling moonblade, there was a spirit vein sealed by my ancestor. However, the spirit vein disappeared, and the last person who came into contact with the falling moonblade was my father. Suddenly, he connected all the dots. He immediately became excited. Master, no. Father, I have been looking for you so hard. I never thought that you would be by my side. Yang Yijin denied. I'm not your father. I'm not even qualified to be your master. It's impossible for someone like me to have a child. Father, I've finally found you. Why don't you recognize me? Do you know that ever since I was old enough to understand things, I've been looking at your portrait every day, as well as Mother's portrait? I've always wanted to be by your side at all times. The only reason I've been able to last until now is because of the strength you gave me. I don't have that qualification. As a father, I've never been by my child's side. From birth to adulthood, I've never even seen you once. I've let down my wife and child. What right do I have to be your father? Father, I don't care about any of this. Furthermore, it's not your fault. I've never blamed you. Xian Wang, use all your strength to shatter the puppet. Su Fong suddenly took a step forward. With a smile, he fused the power of his magic treasure with Xian Wang. He suddenly felt his body fill with boundless divine energy. Master, let's see how Xian Wang shatters the puppet. Roughly an hour later, under the attacks of the three puppets, the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda suddenly shot out 3 rays of light. The puppets seemed to have an attractive force that attracted the energy from the Six Paths Pagoda. The Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda suddenly split into 3 pagoda silhouettes. In the blink of an eye, the 3 Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda suppressed the 3 puppets. At this moment, the skies seemed to be cut in half. The 3 puppets were shattered by the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda, setting off 3 dazzling sparks. Lang Jun King. Using the wings of Fire Cloud, Su Fong immediately flew out. Like a burning cloud, he illuminated the chaotic sky that was just cut in half. Su Fong and Lang Jun King were pulled and twisted by the impact of the magic treasures. A golden palm appeared in front of Su Fong. Lang Jun King activated a large number of magic treasures. Although he was frightened out of his wits, he still released his magic treasures with the will to fight to the death. All the demonic chi from Green Feather King and Xian Wang in his flesh was absorbed by Su Fong and used to activate the Herculean Divine Palm. This was a peerless divine ability from the giant diamond body. The golden light released by the Herculean Divine Palm was filled with demonic chi and a supreme divine aura. It was as if Su Fong was a giant. He threw out a palm in anger, hitting the magic treasures one by one. No matter if it was a magic treasure or a spirit treasure, they were all overturned by the Herculean Divine Palm. Lang Jun King was shocked by the aura. The muscles and skin on his face were trembling. He stared at the Herculean Divine Palm in front of him in disbelief. This king is a heavenly fusion realm cultivator, a gold core realm cultivator. How can he be defeated by a vast core 4th level weakling like you? Su Fong changed his seal again. The Herculean Divine Palm suddenly extended a finger. Under the absolute control of Lang Jun King, the golden finger smashed Lang Jun King's head. Su Fong took the opportunity to come to the headless corpse and sucked out the gold core from Lang Jun King's body. A gold core the size of an eyeball flew to Yang Yijin in Su Fong's hand. Chapter 119. Your Majesty, under the protection of Luo Muxue and other trusted aides, Ming Wang watched as King Lang Jun died at the hands of Su Fong. An emperor of a generation, above tens of thousands of people, was killed in front of everyone. Some people were happy while others were sad. The various forces were cheering. With the death of the emperor, Zhao no longer existed. Whoosh, whoosh. A portion of the Zhao imperial family's experts led their men into the sky, not letting Su Fong go. 2 emperors of Zhao died at my hands, and you still dare to seek death. Su Fong, who had just taken King Lang Jun's golden core, suddenly stared at the Zhao experts flying over. He raised his hand and used the illusory fire cloud. A large amount of burning saber light fell on the group of Zhao experts. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Flames fell from the sky. Although the Zhao cultivators were strong, how could they be a match for Su Fong? The flames exploded, and a large number of experts were burned to death. They all became people on fire, wailing and howling in the sky. Immediately, the restless Zhao experts below were frightened and did not dare to move. Father, he used the fire cloud steps and arrived beside the dying Yang Yijin. Yang Yijin forced the spirit vein out of his body and sent it into Su Fong's body. His divine essence was already heavily injured, and with the attack of Zhao Wuji's puppet, he was already at the end of his life. Yang Yijin barely supported his body. Fong, this is a golden core. Su Fong felt upset. Father, this is a golden core. Father, you're just short of this golden core. Not only can you recover from your injuries, After fusing with the golden core, you can also condense a golden core and step into the heavenly fusion realm. You need it more than me. Yang Yijin shook his head. Whoosh! With a flash of golden light, Su Fong forced the golden core into Yang Yijin's dantian. Not good, this is not good. Xian Wang's 6 paths pagoda slowly transformed from the side, becoming 1 foot long. Green Feather King panicked. This king feels the aura of the celestial sealing sect. It's getting closer and closer. Quickly leave this place. Celestial sealing sect. Su Fong forcibly suppressed his golden core aura in Yang Yijin's dantian. Then he looked at the Xian Wang 6 paths pagoda. Didn't the celestial sealing sect return to the crimson nimbus continent? Why did they suddenly appear? King Green Feather snorted. Oomph. Which one of the house of immortal sealings people hasn't cultivated for 1,000 years? They always have some tricks up their sleeves. Most likely, some of them stayed behind to secretly search for this king's aura. All right, let's go. Yang Yijin sucked the Xianwang 6 paths pagoda into his right arm. At this moment, Yang Yijin's condition was clearly much better than before. It seemed that Jin Dan was indeed infinitely mysterious. Yang Yijin circulated his spiritual energy and looked at the imperial palace. Lords, please leave the imperial palace of the state of Zhao. Su Fong drove the flying sword to the clouds in front of him and returned with Crane Fairy and Bai Ling in a moment. Teleportation Talisman. Su Fong crushed the 2nd rune talisman. Under the protection of the air layer released by Su Fong, Fairy He and Yang Yijin were suddenly pulled into the clouds and disappeared in the sky with the power of distortion released by the crushing of the rune talisman. Let's go to back in the ruined palace. The various great lords also led their troops and retreated quickly. Ming Wang ordered his army to pursue and kill them, but these experts were not in the mood to continue fighting. By the time they caught up, the various great lords had already disappeared. About half an hour later, whoosh! Ming Wang was gathering the experts of the royal family of Zhao and the soldiers when suddenly a twisting storm appeared in the sky, and 2 faintly discernible sword chi flashed. Luo Mushue saw the sword light and immediately ordered the experts, protect the king. At some point, 2 yellow-robed Taoists appeared in the clouds. They didn't look like cultivators from the state of Zhao. They could float in the sky without flying swords. Ming Wang was overjoyed. He ordered a few people to protect him and immediately flew into the sky on his flying sword. It's the experts from the house of immortal sealing. Let's go and greet them. We didn't sense it wrongly before. It's indeed the aura of that evil creature, King Greenfeather. Could it have recovered and escaped before we arrived? It seems that it's in the state of Zhao. We have to tell the senior brothers to come back. King Greenfeather is hiding in this small state of Zhao. The 2 yellow-robed cultivators scanned the sky and the ground. They didn't care about the state of Zhao at all. Instead, they were looking for King Greenfeather. Ming Wang hurriedly flew over. Greetings, masters. I wonder if my ancestor has returned. One of the yellow-robed cultivators clearly remembered Ming Wang. Junior brother Zhao has gone to the Crimson Firmament continent with the senior brothers. Now that he has become a cultivator of our sect, I'm afraid that he won't be able to return for decades. Masters, please help my Zhao clan. Look at this imperial palace. Ming Wang actually knelt in front of the 2 experts. The matters of the mortal world have nothing to do with us. For junior brother Zhao's sake, I can guarantee that from now on, no one will be able to threaten your Zhao clan. The yellow-robed cultivator directly rejected Ming Wang's request. He asked again, there was a demonic aura here before. Tell me in detail. Could it be that the demonic aura is the demonic rock that you're looking for? Ming Wang reacted, and the flames of hatred in his heart burned again. Feather Emperor and Su Fong. Then wouldn't he be able to borrow the strength of the immortal sealing sex experts to get rid of them? Thus, he hurriedly told the 2 experts about how the Feather Emperor and Su Fong had released the demonic aura, as well as how the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda had appeared. The 2 yellow-robed cultivators were startled. So King Greenfeather was hiding in a king-grade magic treasure. No wonder we couldn't sense its aura, even when so many of us came. Immediately send someone to bring us to Tianzong City. As long as we catch him, we'll give the state of Zhao a lot of benefits. Yes, Ming Wang began to gather his men. This was the best chance for him to take revenge and get rid of the Feather Emperor and Su Fang. Scarlet Palm Volcano Ferry by Ling flew towards the mountain peak with Su Fang and Yang Yizhen on her back. Su Fang introduced, "Father, I've placed Uncle and the others in this volcano." Yang Yizhen put on his mask and signaled Su Fang not to enter the Red Palm Volcano, mainly because he was worried about the immortal sealing sex experts. He ferry carried the two of them and flew into another deep mountain. In the forest, after landing, Su Fang looked at Bai Lang's sister Bai. "I'm worried that Luo Mushue will track your aura. Why don't you also enter the pagoda to rest?" "Okay, little brother." Bai Ling nodded and released a pagoda shadow on Su Fang, sucking Bai Ling into it. Su Fang helped Yang Yizhen to a big tree. "Father, are you feeling better?" Yang Yizhen sat cross-legged on the ground and was very gratified. "My physical injuries haven't recovered yet. After fusing with the golden core, I can break through to the Heaven Union realm anytime now." "Fang it's been hard on you all these years." "I'm fine." "Father, even if King Yu died 10,000 times, it wouldn't be enough to vent his hatred. He even let the sacred emperor of the Heaven Gate escape. I will take revenge on him." Back then, when the family received the decree of Tianmen province, I brought the falling moon blade out. On the way, I accidentally found the runes left behind by my ancestors in the falling moon blade. I also fused with the spirit vein inside and advanced to the flesh embryo realm. Su Yaotian rested as he slowly told Su Fang about his past life. However, he ignored how he was disfigured and how he was tortured. Perhaps he didn't want Su Fang to be sad about it. Fortunately, I was lucky. When I was chased by the experts of King Yu, I fell into a very deep cave. Moreover, there was an ancient secret cave in the cave. I encountered a strange, immortal fruit. After eating it, my cultivation kept advancing, and in a few years, I stepped into the transcendent realm. Su Fang calmly sat to the side. He suddenly didn't dare to face Su Yaotian. Guilt filled his heart. "Father, how did you become the overlord of Great Jade Mountain?" At that time, I was preparing to return to Tianzong City, but I encountered the experts of Great Jade Mountain in Qingchuan Valley. They brought me back to Great Jade Mountain, where my cultivation kept advancing. I also discovered my family Su's past, so I had the idea of using Great Jade Mountain to take revenge. Later, after working hard and challenging the previous overlord, I became the new overlord. After becoming the overlord, I went to the Zhao Imperial Palace to pay tribute to the Zhao Emperor. Who would have thought that I would discover something else on that trip that made me determined to destroy the Zhao Empire? The first night I rested in the Imperial Palace, my spirit vein suddenly moved slightly. It seemed there was another spirit vein hidden in the Imperial Palace. After searching for it, I intentionally probed for that aura. As a result, I secretly saw the Zhao Empire's ancestral emperor, Zhao Wuji, appear. He actually had our family Su's treasure, which was part of the spirit vein. "Father, how could he have the spirit vein?" There's only one explanation. Zhao Wuji killed our ancestor and obtained a part of the spirit vein. Coincidentally, the other part of the spirit vein wasn't discovered by him. In the end, it was obtained by you, Fanger. That is the spirit vein in your right arm. In that case, there are a total of 3 parts of the spirit vein. No, there are a total of 2 parts. The first part was sealed in the descending moon blade by our ancestor, and the other part was sealed in our ancestor's body. After our ancestor died at Zhao Wuji's hands, the spirit vein in his body split into 2. Zhao Wuji stole one of the spirit veins, and several thousand years later, I accidentally fused with the other one. He suddenly understood. Thinking back to how the withered tree had turned into a bloody hand and then flew into his right arm, it wasn't a coincidence. That bloody hand was one of the family Su's ancestors' hands. After several thousand years, The bloody hand had turned into a withered tree, but the spirit vein was still hidden within. As a descendant, Su Fong had encountered it and naturally obtained the spirit vein's recognition as its master. When I sensed the spirit vein in Zhao Wuji's body, I resolutely wanted to take revenge. I wanted to take revenge for my family, Su, and the injuries they left on my body. However, Zhao Wuji was extremely powerful and had condensed a gold core. By relying on our family Su's spirit vein, he became a heavenly union expert. Su Fong suddenly looked at Su Fong. The spirit vein is a supreme treasure and also something that belongs to my family Su. Fong, I wasn't able to take back the spirit vein from Zhao Wuji. You must take it back from him. This is your mission. Otherwise, my ancestor won't be able to rest in peace. Zhao Wuji should have gone to the immortal sealing sect. That's in the Crimson Firmament continent. I've heard that the immortal sealing sect is a true cultivation holy land. The Crimson Firmament continent is also a mystical place that is countless times larger than Zhao. The father and son chatted for a long time. Tianzong City, my lord, I am Lu Mingxiong. My daughter is the imperial concubine of the current 8th prince. Dozens of experts from Zhao and 2 experts from the immortal sealing sect were searching for family Su's people in the former family Su's territory. The Lu clan's patriarch, who was also Lu Lan's father, Lu Mingxiong, was leading the Lu clan's cultivators to search for family Su's people on streets. King Ming was furious. Why can't I see a shadow of Su Fong's clansmen? Lu Mingxiong said respectfully, My lord, you might not know this, but the family Su has always been my Lu clan's opponent. When they heard that my daughter had become the imperial concubine, they left Tianzong City overnight. I've sent people to search for them many times, but they were never found. King Ming ordered, capture everyone related to the family Su and interrogate them with torture. I'd rather kill 1,000 by mistake than let one person go. It seems like the Green Feather Monarch has already made his plans and knows that we are looking for him. It's impossible for him to wait for us in this small city. The Green Feather Monarch is very cunning. He has cultivated for more than 10,000 years. It's too difficult for us to find him. Let's wait for the other senior martial brothers to arrive first. The 2 experts from the immortal sealing sect, who were under the protection of the experts from Zhao, no longer had the mood to waste time in Tianzong City. Chapter 120. A few months later. Scarlet Palm Volcano. Dad, the falling moonblade. 2 figures landed next to the mouth of the volcano. Su Fong took out his family's divine weapon, the falling moonblade, from his empty bag. At this time, experts on flying swords flew over from the volcano. Su Tung and Su Junyan brought important members of the family Su over. As for Su Yin, Su Yi, and the other new experts, they were all pleasantly surprised. When the masked Su Yaotian saw Su Tung, he excitedly shouted, Big brother, you are. Su Tung was startled. He sized up this unfamiliar masked man. When he heard his voice and saw his eyes, Su Tung ignored everything and rushed over to hug Su Yaotian. Some of the younger people were confused. Who is he? Su Junyan wiped away his tears and then introduced him to the people behind him. Su Fong's father, Su Yaotian, was our family Su's #1 genius back then. Do you still remember the Wu family's Wu Dezhong? He and brother Su became famous experts in Tianzong City back then. He's Su Yaotian. Many people looked at the masked Su Yaotian in a different light. This was a legendary figure in the family Su. Su Tong's tears flowed down his face. He didn't ask any questions and just comforted, Brother you're finally back. Yes, I'm back. I should have come back earlier. Su Yaotian was also excited. Su Fong handed over the falling moon blade in front of everyone. Uncle, Dad brought the falling moon blade back. Falling moon blade. There's no mistake. That's our family Su's treasure. He's finally back. The family Su's experts were all looking at the falling moon blade. Su Tung and Su Yaotian quietly entered the volcano. Su Yi, Su Yin, and the others all came over. Su Fong, it's good that you're back. There have always been demons appearing around the Scarlet Palm volcano. Everyone was talking and laughing as they returned to the volcano. During this time, the family Su's experts had saved many mortals and settled them down in the volcano, providing them with food and shelter. At night, the family Su held a grand banquet to welcome Su Yaoyin's return. They also used the falling moon blade as a sacrifice. Su Fong watched all of this from the corner and did not attend the banquet. When he saw the falling moon blade, he thought of the harsh words his clansmen had said before. Today, the falling moon blade had returned to the clan, so all of this should dissipate like smoke. Pung. Su Fong was cultivating in a cave inside the volcano. Suddenly, a shocking aura burst out from his body, and his energy force appeared in the state of 5 layers. 5th level vast core stage. After devouring the core embryo that he had obtained previously, not only had he quickly recovered the energy he had used up during the battle in the country of Zhao, but because he had fused with the second portion of the spiritual vein, he had advanced from the 4th level to the 5th level of the vast core realm. The power of advancement rushed into his divine aperture, and his magic power formed a galaxy vortex that condensed continuously. A large amount of impurities also surged out of his body. A few days later, the promotion ended. Xian Huang reminded, "Master, Green Feather King, sensed the aura of the celestial ceiling sect a moment ago." He passed by not far away. Su Fong heard it and entered the space of the Xianhuang Pagoda. He saw Green Feather King. The experts of the Celestial Ceiling Sect should be looking for Father in Tianzong City and Great Jade Mountain. My human Emperor Ming Luan is so important, they will not leave so easily. The human Emperor Ming Luan is very important. Many sects and experts want to take it for themselves. The Celestial Ceiling Sect should be looking for this king in the country of Zhao. You only have one choice now, and that is to leave the country of Zhao. Otherwise, you and this king will be in constant danger. This is the only way. The Celestial Ceiling Sect is a giant with countless disciples and experts. How can they allow this king to obtain the human Emperor Ming Luan? Instead of waiting for death, why don't you purposely release your aura after leaving the country of Zhao and lure the Celestial Ceiling Sect out of the country of Zhao? This way, my family Su and my father will be safe. You are smart. Although this is a bit risky for this king, your safety is the same as this king's safety. Father can advance to the Heavenly Union realm at any time, but the Celestial Ceiling Sect is always coveting him. I can only suppress my cultivation and lure them away. This way, even if Zhao Wuji returns to the country of Zhao, he will not be a match for my father. Before his breakthrough was over, he thought about how the Celestial Ceiling Sect's experts were in the country of Zhao. He transmitted a message to Su Yaotian and then flew out of the Scarlet Palm volcano. Fong, you have already surpassed your father. The country of Zhao is too small, and the country of Zhao is no longer vast for you. Leaving the country of Zhao is also good. Late at night, in the sky above the forest, Su Yaotian learned of Su Fong's thoughts and was happy for Su Fong. Su Fong was reluctant to part. Father, what do you plan to do next? After confirming that the Celestial Ceiling Sect has left, I will immediately undergo my tribulation and advance to the Heavenly Union realm. Then I will rebuild the family Su dynasty. However, there is something I cannot let go of. Is it the 3rd portion of the spirit vein? As expected of my good son, Zhao Wuji's spirit vein belongs to the family Su. We must take it back. Moreover, after you fuse with all the spirit veins, you will be able to cultivate your natal magic treasure faster. Our ancestors said that the spirit vein came from the great world's purple light sacred land. This is your immortal fate. I will definitely find Zhao Wuji and obtain the spirit vein from him to perfect my purple Qi Dharma spirit. Father, these empty pouches are the Zhao family's treasures. Be careful on your way there. If you want to lure the Celestial Ceiling Sect's experts, you must pass through the Dark Forest and go to the Scarlet Firmament continent. The Dark Forest is rumored to be very mysterious. Father, don't worry. This matter should not be delayed. Every second we delay means more danger for all of us. "Father, when you have time, go to the Purple Chi Mountain and visit mother and grandfather's graves." Whoosh! Seeing that his tears were about to fall, Su Fong summoned his flying sword and decisively flew into the sky. "I always feel that the heavens are unfair. They treat my family Su unfairly, treat me unfairly. But the heavens gave me such an outstanding son." Su Yaotian flew into the sky and watched the flying sword. He took off his mask, revealing his scarred face full of tears. 3 days later, south of the Zhao country was the mysterious southern border. You demons just happened to be able to provide energy for the profound yellow. There is still some time before they entered the southern border. Su Fong stepped on his flying sword and sucked several fiendish demons into the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. Greenfeather King was very happy. With demons helping him recover his strength, he also gave a portion of his strength to Crane Fairy and Bai Ling. He also taught some divine abilities to Bai Ling. Along the way, Su Fong had suppressed dozens of demons that had reached the Dharma whole realm and divine abilities. There are also several vast core realm existences. However, they were not qualified to be small commanders. If they were sucked into the profound yellow, they would be sucked dry by Greenfeather King. Hill Phoenix Mountain should be nearby. His flying sword passed through a mountain range. At this time, he activated a jade slip that Xiao Mei had given him to avoid the Zhao country's pursuit. The jade slip recorded the place where Xiao Mei had once cultivated the Hill Phoenix Mountain. It was located in a mountain range near the southern border. After entering the mountain range and passing through the steep peaks, the jade slip suddenly buzzed. Looking closely, he saw a rooster-like mountain peak that was exactly the same as the one recorded in the jade slip. In a few breaths' time, he appeared in front of the mountain. But looking at the mountain, he didn't see any traces of a training ground or building. Without any other choice, he had Bai Ling come out to help. Bai Ling smelled the scent of the jade slip and immediately brought Su Fong into the forest. They quickly saw a large number of collapsed boulders and a cave covered by withered grass. Bai Ling locked onto his target. "Who is it?" Suddenly, a burst of energy shot out from the cave, crushing the withered grass. A white figure holding an immortal sword jumped out. It was Xiao Mei. Xiao Mei was shocked. Su Fong. Su Fong nodded. "If it's not me, who else could it be? It's not easy to find you here." Xiao Mei was a little embarrassed and quickly hid the surprise in her eyes. "After I was saved by you in the Zhao country, I listened to you and rushed back here. But when I entered the training ground, I didn't find any traces of you. Could it be that after you killed the Zhao country's emperor, you didn't come here to seek refuge? I was thinking of revenge, so I didn't leave the Zhao country at that time." After Su Fong explained, he followed Xiao Mei into the cave. It turned out that the boulder was just a cover. After entering, there was a very spacious cave. It was just that Xiao Mei was the only one left, so it was a little cold. Xiao Mei was about to find a place for Su Fong to cultivate, but he refused on the spot. "I'm going to the southern border immediately. This time, after killing King Lang, I attracted the experts of the Celestial Sealing sect to search for me all over the Zhao country. I'm going to leave the Zhao country and go to the Crimson Firmament continent to lure the experts of the Celestial Sealing sect out of the Zhao country. My master once mentioned that the Celestial Sealing sect is a supreme sect of the Crimson Firmament continent. That Zhao Wuji was able to leave the Zhao country to go to the Crimson Firmament continent because of them. Could it be that the Zhao country was able to invite the experts of the Celestial Sealing sect to hunt you down?" Xiao Mei was very puzzled. Su Fong said, "Actually, I accidentally obtained a treasure of the Celestial Sealing sect, which caused them to hunt me down. It's just the Zhao country. How could they invite the experts of the Celestial Sealing sect? Mayor, let's part ways here. I'm going to the Crimson Firmament continent to find Zhao Wuji and retrieve something." "You." Xiao Mei saw that Su Fong was about to leave and felt a little embarrassed. "Take care." Su Fong flashed and flew out of the cave. He stopped outside for a moment and immediately called out his flying sword. Whoosh! Xiao Mei followed closely behind and sealed off the cave with a palm. She mischievously shouted at Su Fong. I'm going to the Crimson Firmament continent. Su Fong was startled. But it's very dangerous. What's there to be afraid of? Furthermore, my master's pill cauldron is not in the Zhao country's treasury. It must have been taken away by Zhao Wuji. I also need to retrieve the pill cauldron from him so that my master can rest in peace. All right. For some reason, Su Fong was actually looking forward to Xiao Mei traveling with him. The two of them immediately rode on their flying swords and disappeared into the depths of the Pill Phoenix Mountain. 3 days later, Su Fong and Xiao Mei suddenly stopped high in the sky. That was because there were two different worlds to their left and right. The left side gave off a demonic aura that soared into the heavens, while the right side was shrouded in a haze. Xiao Mei pointed to the right. The right side is the dark forest. Back then, my master had gone there to pick herbs. He also wanted to pass through the dark forest and go to the Crimson Firmament continent. Unfortunately, that place is very strange. Whether it's riding on a flying sword or traveling through the forest, it's always impossible to pass through the dark forest. For many years, I've never heard of a cultivator who could go from the dark forest to the Crimson Firmament continent. Let's go to the southern border first and find an acquaintance. Dark forest in the other side of the dark forest was the Crimson Firmament continent. However, Su Fong brought Xiao Mei and flew to the left side of the world. After another day of flying, the two of them finally entered the southern border. First, it gave off a very clear, demonic aura in the air. The mountains were even more majestic. Along the way, they could see some cities or sections. These cities and sects were not large. For example, Xiao Mei sect might only have a few dozen disciples or 100 disciples. Old Fox. Su Fong activated a special seal and released it. In the vast southern border, you really didn't know where Dao Wuyang was. Along the way, they saw some demons causing chaos. Many cultivators were surrounding and killing the demons. It seemed that this place was the same as the Zhao country. Because of the phenomenon, many big goblins had lost their minds. Chapter 121. Swoosh, swoosh. Su Fong and Xiao Mei rode on their flying swords and just happened to pass by an empire. This empire was much larger than the Zhao country. It was as if there was some special spiritual energy under the empire that brought endless amounts of spiritual energy to this empire. Only after arriving in the southern wilderness did they realize why the powers here didn't go to the Zhao empire. In terms of resources, the southern wilderness conditions were much better. Just the spiritual qi here was 5 times denser. Cultivating here was naturally several times better than in the Zhao empire. Suddenly, a yellow demonic wind came from a mountain range that was taller than the sky. Xiao Mei-er's cultivation was also close to the heavenly union realm. She immediately sensed the demonic wind and retreated in fright. Monster, Su Fong said, this is Dao Wuyang. I came to the southern wilderness to find him. Why do you like to be friends with monsters? Xiao Mei wasn't used to it. That was hard to explain. Haha, Grandpa Dao is here. The yellow demonic wind was too fast. Although Dao Wuyang had yet to condense a golden core, he was incomparably powerful. Even human golden core experts were not his match. Dao Wuyang doesn't seem to be in the vast core realm. Bringing Xiao Mei with him, Su Fong sensed a huge change in Dao Wuyang's aura. Sometimes it was fierce, sometimes it was ruthless, and sometimes it was empty. Dao Wuyang didn't stand on ceremony with Su Fong. He didn't even snort. Instead, he stared at Xiao Mei. Oh, you even brought a beauty. You're lucky. I remember her. She's concubine Xiao from the Zhao Empire's imperial palace. We've met before. Xiao Mei was a bit annoyed by Dao Wuyang's ruffian behavior. You haven't met Grandpa Dao, but Grandpa Dao has met you. Dao Wuyang glanced at her and led the two of them forward. Suddenly, he secretly transmitted to Su Fong, Brat, you're not much. That beauty's pure energy is still so strong. You didn't manage to take her down. Su Fong glared at him. Why would I even think about that? Because I captured the Green Feather King, The immortal ceiling sect is now looking for me in the state of Zhao. I have to go to the Crimson Nimbus continent. Hehe, the fragment of the human emperor's bright chakram is a supreme treasure. Think about it. Given the strength of the immortal ceiling sect, it's very likely that they'll be able to collect even more fragments. At that time, they'll be able to go to the human emperor's world and fuse with the human emperor's world core. Wouldn't the immortal ceiling sect become the ruler of a world? They naturally won't let Green Feather King off so easily. Did you condense a gold core? I've been stuck at this bottleneck for over 100 years, and I still haven't broken through. Speaking of the immortal ceiling sect, although they're strong, there's no need to fear them in my territory. With the dark forest blocking them, how many experts can they possibly send over? Furthermore, my grandmother's divine abilities are extremely powerful. Why don't we just hide in the southern wilderness? If you want to go to the Crimson Nimbus continent, you'll have to go through the dark forest. That place is terrifying to both humans and demons. I don't have a choice. The ancestral emperor of the state of Zhao, Zhao Wuji, has a magic treasure spirit vein left behind by my ancestor. I have to take it back. Once I fuse with it, I'll be able to obtain a core magic treasure even faster. So that's how it is. You see, that's the hidden forest. This forest and mountain range all belong to my fox race. They had unknowingly appeared in the air above a lush forest. This forest had no end in sight. Adding on the cluster of mountains, it was extremely mysterious. The hidden forest Dao Wuyang brought the two of them into the forest. As soon as they entered, they saw a formation. It seemed very ordinary, but they would unknowingly fall into the formation and lose their way. This was Su Fang's first time seeing such a profound formation. Furthermore, layer after layer separated the hidden forest, making it a forbidden zone. Boom! Within the layers of formations, Su Fang and Xiao Mirror felt like they were in an ancient illusion. There was no temperature. Other than the twisting formations, they couldn't see anything else. Suddenly, a tremor came from the right. Dao Wuyang heard it and flew out of the formation with the two of them. They arrived at the top of the forest. On the mountain in front of them, a flying tiger great demon was crazily fighting with two figures. That wasn't a human. It was an existence similar to Dao Wuyang. After the third sun appeared in the sky, the southern border was in complete chaos. From time to time, a big goblin would lose its mind and enter the hidden forest. Dao Wuyang nodded to the two of them and immediately flew towards the mountain. In the heart of the mountain, two girls were fighting with a flying tiger. They were 15 or 16 years old. Like Dao Wuyang, their brows were slightly yellow. Seeing Dao Wuyang appear, the two girls hurriedly asked him for help. Brother Dao is here. Isn't this the flying tiger king of the heavenly spring mountain? Dao Wuyang waved his hand to get the two girls to stay away from the big goblin. With a glance, he knew the origin of the flying tiger. Su Fang suddenly smiled. This flying tiger is very powerful. Looks like it's about to condense a golden core. Dao Wuyang introduced. This flying tiger king is cultivating in the distant heavenly spring mountain. Previously, his cultivation was about the same as mine. However, it won't be easy for him to condense a golden core. Not bad. Leave it to Xianwang. Let the Flying Tiger King become the first commander. That way, the Green Feather King will have a companion. However, this Flying Tiger King can be considered a friend of the hidden forest. Dao Wuyang, when did you become so kind? I'm not killing him. Instead, I'm saving him. Becoming a commander will be of great help to him. Xianwang can also help demon beasts cultivate. After saying that, Su Fang flew out with a whoosh. The two fox race girls were circling around Xiao Mei-er. Brother Dao, is this a human? She's so beautiful. Don't randomly change her appearances. You're scaring her, scolded Dao Wuyang. Pow! The Flying Tiger King had lost its mind. As soon as Su Fang approached, it sensed the aura of life. It suddenly flew over and clawed at the layer of qi released by Su Fang. Xianwang. This time, he didn't need to be a primordial chaos sage. Ever since he had merged with the second spirit vein, he could use more of the Xianhuang's Six Paths Pagoda's power. 2. Xianhuang appeared along with the purple light. Regardless of whether the Flying Tiger King was a demon or a human, it pounced at the Xianhuang's Six Paths Pagoda. It bit and clawed, but it was unable to do anything to the Six Paths Pagoda. Buzz! The first door of the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda opened, and a stream of Xian Guang shot out at the Flying Tiger King. The Flying Tiger King struggled with all its might, but was still sucked into the door. Brother Dao, that human is so terrifying. He suppressed the Flying Tiger King in an instant. The two fox race girls were so frightened that their faces turned pale. When Su Fong returned, the two girls had already disappeared. 100,000 commanders. This is only the first one. After entering the layers of formations, Su Fong's consciousness entered the first layer of the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. He saw that the Flying Tiger King had already regained its consciousness and was crawling in front of the Green Feather King. It didn't dare to move at all. Everything had its vanquisher. Cultivation technique. First, they were in the middle of the formation. At this moment, Dao Wuliang struck out a hand seal, and a cave entrance suddenly appeared in front of them. Once they entered, they saw a valley full of green mountains and rivers. There was also a Milky Way waterfall in the depths of the valley. It seemed to fall from the void. Xiaomei was attracted by the beautiful scenery in front of her and was deeply shocked. The senior who set up this formation is too powerful. Hee, that's natural. My grandmother's cultivation is unfathomable. Even in the Crimson Firmament continent, she's a top expert. Don't stand on ceremony. Just treat it as your own home and look around. Dao Wuliang didn't know where this pride came from, but it immediately rose up spontaneously. At this moment, from the depths of the valley, it seemed to come from behind the waterfall. Brat, your mother has sensed the Green Feather King's aura. Tell him to come out. Grandmother, a few white and yellow foxes appeared from the surrounding forest. They excitedly stared at the waterfall and jumped around. They didn't take human form, but they could speak. It seemed that they were very powerful. Could it be the Dao true fox mother that the Green Feather King mentioned? When Su Fong heard that ethereal voice, he used his consciousness to communicate with the Green Feather King. Unexpectedly, the Green Feather King lazily said, "Coquettish fox, Grandpa, Peng doesn't care about you." The Dao true fox mother mocked. Back then, the Green Feather King was unrivaled in the Crimson Firmament continent. Dazzled, Huanghu was good at chasing after people. Huanghu's right neck. The Green Feather King didn't lose his temper this time. Your words are better than singing. You know how strong the Celestial Sealing Sect is. Furthermore, the Celestial Sealing Sect is chasing after this king. If you come out now, the Celestial Sealing Sect will quickly kill their way to your hidden forest. This king doesn't want to cause trouble for you. All right, then let that brat release the artifact that's imprisoning you. I'll reminisce with you. Yes, senior. As the Dao True Fox Mother finished speaking, she raised her right arm, and the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda flew toward the waterfall. Buzz! The shadow of a big tail swept out from the waterfall. In fact, it was the waterfall that was floating in midair. With a whoosh, it pulled the black-yellow Six Daos Pagoda behind the waterfall. At the same time, Xuanhuang's voice rang out in Su Fong's mind. Master, don't worry. This old fox demon is very strong, just like the Green Feather King. Without your divine mirror, I won't be able to deal with her. Since Xianhuang had said so, Su Fong followed Dao Wuliang to tour the fox race's training grounds and the fox race. In truth, there weren't many fox race members in the hidden forest, but they were rich in resources. There were spirit stones that formed a spirit-gathering formation, or rare spirit items like the 1,000-year-old flaming serpent fruit. Most of the fox race's cultivation methods were still ancient. They absorbed natural spiritual qi as well as spirit stones. This was very different from humans. Su Fong even went to Dao Wuliang's training grounds to sit around. The training grounds were really luxurious. There were spirit stones everywhere, as well as all kinds of precious gems. Not to mention condensing qi, just breathing in the cave was equivalent to cultivating all the time. Just as Su Fong and Xiao Mei'er were tasting the spirit fruit wine, Dao Wuyang's body trembled slightly. He then winked at Su Fong. "Grandmother is here. She wants to see you." Dao True Fox Mother. Su Fong Dao was surprised. Before he could react, the scene in front of him changed. Dao Wuyang and Xiao Mei'er disappeared, and then a silver Xian Guang rushed over. The Xianguang Six Paths Pagoda was floating inside the Xianguang. Beside it, there was a blurry figure flashing. The figure's hoarse and dignified voice rang out. "Why aren't you greeting your grandmother?" Su Fong hurriedly bowed. "Senior." Within the Xianhuang, Green Feather King unhappily snorted. "Coquettish fox, this king is very comfortable in this pagoda. Unless the celestial sealing sect disappears one day, this king will only come out. So don't torment this brat. Otherwise, this king won't let you off." "Hush, old mother wants to talk, so you should quiet down." Dao Zhen's matriarch then said to Su Fong, "Kid, old mother and Green Feather Monarch have old grudges with the immortal sealing sect. I heard that you want to go to the Crimson Firmament Continent. It's good that you're going, but it won't be easy for you to pass through the dark forest. Old mother can help you, but you have to promise old mother that you'll bring my disappointing red-browed grandson to the Crimson Firmament Continent as well." "All right, as long as I can pass through the dark forest." So this was why Dao True Fox Mother wanted to see him. Wasn't that even better? He had to go to the Crimson Firmament Continent and lure the celestial sealing sect out of the state of Zhao. Dao True Fox Mother could also help him. It was killing two birds with one stone. "You're a straightforward person. Then I won't pursue the matter of you, suppressing Qi Mei. Go." Dao True Fox Mother suddenly spat out a wave of demonic qi. This wave of demonic qi caused Xianhuang, Six Paths Pagoda, and Su Fong to strangely return to Dao Wuyang's training ground. It was as if nothing had happened. Chapter 122. Dao Wuyang seemed to be very excited when he heard that he was going to leave the southern region with Su Fong. It turned out that no one in the Fox clan was allowed to leave the southern region, as they had many enemies. Without the protection of Dao Zhen's mother, fox demons would often be hunted outside. The treasure of our Fox clan. When grandmother was still in the Crimson Nimbus continent, a large number of human experts surrounded and killed her. In order to escape, she had to give up the treasure. Now, I don't know which sect it is in, but that treasure has the power to make grandmother become an immortal. In the cave, when Su Fong mentioned that they were going to the Crimson Nimbus continent, Dao Wuyang revealed some secrets about the Fox clan in the Crimson Nimbus continent. Su Fong rested in the hidden forest for a few days and used this time to speed up his cultivation. He had already reached the 5th level of the vast core realm. To break through to the 6th level, he would need a treasure that contained a fierce energy. It had to be a core embryo or the pearl of a demon beast that was burned by a chaos saint. On this day, Su Fong and Xiao Mei'er left the hidden forest under Dao Wuyang's lead and officially approached the dark forest. Our demon clan is declining day by day, but the human clan is prospering. If we can find that treasure, Mother can find a way to find where the Fox clan used to be. In the depths of the hidden forest, within the layers of formations, a figure stared at the departing figure. The celestial sealing sect has proclaimed themselves as the venerated immortal sect. They're the orthodox celestial race and control the human race. This human called Su Fong seems to have a great connection with my demon race. He might be able to change the current situation of my demon race in the Zhuotian world. In less than 2 days, at the end of the southern region was the boundless forest that was shrouded in haze all day long. Other than the forest, there was only haze and no mountains could be seen. The forest was taller than any mountain range, and the fog that reached the 9th heaven seemed to have divided the dark forest into two. In front of the haze, Dao Wuyang was the first to land, followed by Su Fong and Xiao Mei'er. This was the first time they saw the dark forest. Other than Dao Wuyang, Su Fong and Xiao Mei'er were surprised that such a place existed. Dao Wuyang said, "No one knows the origin of the dark forest. Green Feather King and my mother have lived for more than 10,000 years. The dark forest existed then and divided the crimson nimbus continent into two. Su Fong stared at it for a while. Do you remember the devil chi we encountered last time near the Red Palm volcano? It seems to be called One-Horned Devil Venerable, and that mysterious young man. Didn't they come for the dark forest? This means that although the dark forest is a forbidden area, there is someone controlling everything here. And you are a peerless senior. He, of course. My mother's methods are heaven-defying. Even in the crimson nimbus continent, she stands at the peak. Dao Wuyong laughed proudly. The dark forest is a treasure trove of resources for the southern border. Many cultivators come here to collect treasures. So we'll meet cultivators here. It's best not to fight with them. Otherwise, we'll attract a terrifying existence like the one-horned devil. Dao Wuyong explained everything he knew. Then he led the way. The three of them entered the most mysterious place in the crimson nimbus continent. Dark forest. As soon as they entered the forest, the thick fog seemed to put clothes on the three of them. These clothes seemed to be connected to the entire forest. They couldn't take them off. So much demonic chi. Su Fong took a few breaths of the dark forest's aura. He didn't know how many powerful big goblin there were in the dark forest. Of course, other than demonic chi, there are also other auras. The dark forest spiritual chi was 10 times more abundant than the southern borders. This was a true spirit vein. Who knew how many spirit stones and spiritual items were hidden here to be able to gather in such a state? If one could cultivate here for a long time, it would be difficult to become an expert. This is cold core grass. It's a very rare spirit grass. The more they walked, the more they lost their sense of direction. Xiao Mei suddenly squatted to the left. She arrived under a rock. There were 3 spirit grasses emitting a faint spiritual light. She only had eyes for spirit grasses. She even impolitely assigned tasks to Su Fong and Dao Wuyong. I'm an inheritor of the alchemy Dao. If I see spirit grasses that can refine pills, I won't let them go. Help me keep an eye on them. Since they didn't know when they would be able to leave the dark forest, Su Fong and Dao Wuyong searched for all kinds of spirit grasses along the way. It seems we've entered a new formation forest. A day later, the 3 of them passed by a small stream. But when they turned around, the stream actually twisted and disappeared. Dao Wuyong gestured for them to continue forward. It's fine. I can still sense the aura left behind by grandmother. The general direction shouldn't be wrong. Xiao Mei suddenly pointed to the ground in front of them. There were some blue lights. She shouted excitedly, "Blue millet grass. So many. Quickly gather them." Don't gather them yet. Dao Wuyong suddenly stopped her. He and Su Fong looked carefully at the spirit grasses. Suddenly, they saw some insects on the leaves of the spirit grasses. Su Fong was shocked. These are goo insects. Dao Wuyong gestured for everyone to be careful. They are indeed goo insects. There are many people in the southern border who cultivate goo insects. Their cultivation methods are also different. There are blood cultivators, corpse cultivators, and even medicinal cultivators. These goo insects are medicinal cultivators. They place them on spirit grasses and absorb the medicinal energy of the spirit grasses day and night. At the same time, the 3 of them felt a cold wind blow over. At the same time, a cold male voice laughed. "Ha! You dare trespass into my territory?" Su Fong looked around cautiously. "We just accidentally trespassed into your territory." That person was mysterious and unfathomable. "Seeing that you did not destroy or snatch my medicine goo, I will let you off today. Take a detour. This forest is my territory. If you dare to have any thoughts, I will definitely use the 3 of you to refine goo." Dao Wuyong immediately brought the 2 of them to the right side of the forest. The 3 of them were secretly on guard against the person who cultivated medicinal goo. Cultivators who could travel in the dark forest were at least at the peak of the vast core realm. Some of them were naturally at the Golden Core realm, and in the next few days, they met another expert who cultivated corpse goo using demonic beast corpses. Corpse goo, if successfully refined from demonic beasts, could be used to control powerful demonic beasts in the future. Many cultivators wanted to control demonic beasts for cultivation or to increase their strength. This is the mark left behind by my grandmother. Deep in the forest, the three of them were trembling with fear along the way. Dao Wuyong suddenly came under a towering tree. On the bark of the tree, there was a special leaf carving that looked like a claw print. Dao Wuyong explained, "It will probably take a few more days to pass through the dark forest." They continued to move forward. It seemed like they were about to pass through the dark forest and enter the crimson firmament continent. The three of them began to relax. At this time, the three of them unknowingly entered a forest with stone statues. It was still foggy, and the haze did not dissipate. The stone statues were all human statues. They were as tall as a human and looked very lifelike. They were like the guards of this forest. Why do I feel like these stone statues are alive? After passing by more stone statues, they could not help but be curious about them. Xiao Mei sized up a female stone statue. Her silhouette, figure, and clothes were all very exquisite. When she passed by, the female stone statue's eyes actually shook slightly. There was a faint demonic light inside, but the three of them did not notice it. Gradually, they came to the center of the stone statues. Dao Wuyong, the big goblin, actually had a layer of sweat on his forehead. Why do I feel like someone is watching us? I have the same feeling. Su Fang's heart was also about to stop. He kept feeling that these stone statues were not simple. Ah! Xiao Mei suddenly screamed. Su Fang and Dao Wuyong turned to look. Xiao Mei was actually being held by a female stone statue. Furthermore, a faint demonic qi was surging out of the statue's arm. As expected, there's something strange. Su Fang immediately reacted. He grabbed a ray of sword qi and slashed it at the statue's arm. His other hand held Xiao Mei. Clang! The sword qi was unstoppable as it chopped off the statue's arm. It also pulled Xiao Mei back. However, the scene that appeared after the arm was chopped off caused the three of them to feel a chill in their hearts. Drip, drip, drip. The statue's arm was actually dripping with blood. And upon closer inspection, the stone statue's arm was actually flesh and blood. Living flesh and blood. Dao Wuyong shouted, "Let's get out of here!" Swish, swish, swish. But before the three of them could even take a step, the surrounding stone statues actually began to move. They were like living people surrounding the three of them. Tut, tut, just as they were about to fly away from this forest, each of the stone statues formed a strange hand seal. The ground suddenly sank, turning into a black whirlpool. It should be a black quagmire. The three of them were sucked into the black whirlpool. A formation. We've encountered a formation. Dao Wuyong struggled, but he was unable to move. As for Su Fang, he was hugging Xiao Mei. As a woman, his face had long since turned pale from fright. He really didn't know what would happen in the darkness. Suddenly, the three of them found themselves in a silent world. The black whirlpool also disappeared in the blink of an eye. Looking around, it was a terrifying space filled with countless tree roots and white bones. It was like a tomb. In front of them was a very strange stone statue. It was unknown whether that stone statue was a human or a demon. From the looks of it, it was most likely a human. However, it had a single horn on its head, a sharp tooth at each corner of its mouth, and a pair of vertical eyes. Other than that strange and frightening appearance, that monstrous stone statue also emitted a faint black qi. Su Fang protected Xiao Mei and looked at Dao Wuyong. This is demonic qi. Dao Wuyong also swallowed his saliva. It is indeed demonic qi. It's the same demonic qi that we encountered at the Red Palm volcano. There are indeed formidable martial artists of the demonic Dao in this dark forest. Kiki, the demon statue, suddenly let out a hoarse laugh. So it's an acquaintance. An acquaintance. An acquaintance. The two of them were very surprised. The demon statue said in a terrifying voice, "Have you two forgotten that I said that I won't let you go? How dare you fight with me?" Could it be? The two of them couldn't help but look at each other. At this moment, they were sure that this demon statue in front of them was the demon they encountered at the Red Palm volcano, the single-horned demon supremacy. It couldn't be so coincidental, right? Su Fong and Dao Wuliang couldn't help but tremble. The world was so big. Why did they have to encounter two demons consecutively? And this time, it was obvious that they had fallen into the single-horned demon supremacy's trap. The two of them started to retreat. Xiao Mei stuck close to Su Fong. She was so scared that her face turned pale. It was probably her first time seeing a demon. Chapter 123. And this was just a devil statue. It wasn't the single-horned devil ancestor's true body. You think I'm afraid of him? This mysterious underground space seemed to be sealed. Dao Wuliang looked behind him and didn't see any escape routes. He steeled his heart and signaled for the single-horned devil ancestor's statue to be destroyed. Su Fong also calmed down. All right, our chances of working together are high. Furthermore, since we're in the dark forest, I can borrow Green Feather King's power without fear. I can also lure the immortal sealing sex experts here. Mei, you stay here, said Dao Wuliang to Xiao Mei. Xiao Mei really didn't want to be alone in the darkness, but she could only watch as the two of them approached the single-horned devil ancestor statue. The single-horned devil ancestor said, "What? You don't have the qualifications to fight with me." "We'll only know after we fight," said Dao Wuliang. "You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth." Puppets descend. The devil statue suddenly released a ring of devil runes. The devil runes intertwined and spread, merging into this mysterious space. Whoosh! Stone statues descended from the darkness above, and a few stone statues crawled out from the ground. These stone statues were very familiar. They were the stone statues they had encountered on the ground before. The single-horned devil ancestor laughed cruelly. "I like to devour human essence to refine my puppets. Look at these puppets. They're all humans who trespassed into my sealed land. They were all killed by me and became my food. Now that they're puppets, they can even absorb spiritual chi for me. Ha ha." Su Fong was infuriated. Cold chi surged out, refining living humans into puppets. Illusory fire cloud. Streaks of spiritual fire were spewed out, and the surrounding stone puppets began to attack the two of them, charging towards them without restraint. "Watch me break you one by one." Dao Wuliang took out the mysterious wooden staff he had used before. While the illusory fire cloud was attacking the puppets, he shot into the air and swung his staff. Boom! With a swing of the staff, one of the stone statues was instantly smashed into pieces, turning into pieces of bloody flesh. "Oh, that's a treasure in your hand." The single-horned devil ancestor seemed to be attracted by Dao Wuliang's treasure. Spirit serpent saber. Within the spirit fire, Su Fong's eyes sharpened. With a hoo-hoo sound, the spirit snake saber flew out of his hand. It felt like it was flying out of his hand as he hacked at a stone statue. In the end, it was also a strike. A bloody skull appeared on the puppet, but it did not shatter the puppet completely, and Dao Wuliang. Most of the puppets were blocked by the illusory fire cloud, making it difficult for them to attack Su Fong and Dao Wuliang accurately. The one-horned demon venerable said in surprise, "You human brat, you can actually use an immortal technique." Immortal skills didn't count for much. His invincible golden body and superhuman strength god palm both came from his godly class energy art, the gigantified heavenly king body. The single-horned demon venerable was infuriated. The demonic statue stood up, but it was difficult for it to move. Xiao! Xiao! The bloody tongues of the demonic path madly rushed over, causing one's heart to tremble. The bloody tongues simply blotted out the sky and covered the earth. Ghost King Claw. Su Fong continued to use the illusory fire cloud to form a spirit fire wall in front of him, but it was still scattered by some of the blood tongues. He called out the Ghost King Claw and struck out all kinds of claw seals, clashing with the blood tongues. A large amount of demon blood danced in the air. Fox Fiend True Sword. Dao Wuyong also used a great divine ability. It was no longer the 100 poison art, but a divine ability from the fox race. Sword shadows of demonic chi shot out from his demonic chi eyes. Dense sword shadows swept out, cutting down the demonic blood tongues. As expected of a great demon who had condensed a golden core, his strength was more than 10 times stronger than Su Fong's. Sword shadows constantly shot out from his eyes. The demonic blood tongues were also very powerful, but Dao Wuyong was not to be outdone. He fought head-on with the blood tongues. We haven't even reached the Crimson Firmament continent, but we're already in such danger. Su Fong was surrounded by the blood tongues. He had never thought that he would encounter such a thing in the dark forest. He had thought that he would only encounter such dangers once he reached the Crimson Firmament continent. Haha, this is my sealed land. My energy is endless. Let's see how long you can last. The Devil Sovereign stood behind them, feeling rather pleased with himself. Careful, Xiao Mei was on the other side. She could only hope that Su Fong would be able to kill his way out. As for her current strength, she was far inferior to Su Fong's, so she couldn't help. Dao Wuyong and Su Fong felt as if they were in hell. All they could see were ferocious tongues of blood and devil blood flying in the air. They were constantly spewing out blood. After shaking off the bloody tongue, Su Fong formed a series of seals, formless fire cloud blade. Boom! Using the formless flame cloud saber while surrounded by blood tongues was no different from suicide. There was no way to escape. The blood tongues were everywhere. And now, the saber light's flames were exploding. The power of each explosion forced Su Fong away. Large amounts of blood tongues were burned to ashes. Immortal arts were truly extraordinary. Although their power was only around Su Fong's realm, they contained some wondrous abilities that mortals could not possess. I'll go deal with the Devil Sovereign. From the looks of it, he should be sealed here. He can't use his divine abilities as he pleases. He can only control these puppets. The formless flame cloud saber created an opening. Su Fong faintly stared at the Devil Sovereign behind the blood tongues. He warned Dao Wuyong and immediately used the flame cloud steps to break through the air. Dao Wuyong shot out more sword shadows. Together with a magical wooden stick in his hand, he instantly arrived at the center of the blood tongues. He happily killed and shouted, "Master Dao will attract all the devil cultivators' attacks." The single-horned demon master floated up. "You're just a 5th-level vast core realm human ant. If I wasn't sealed here, not to mention a finger, even spitting out a mouthful of foam would be enough to drown you and that little fox demon." Spirit Snake Saber. Su Fong had nothing to say to the Devil Sovereign. At the same time, he activated the Ghost King Claw and released the Spirit Snake Saber. The Spirit Snake Saber transformed into a long-range attack. It immediately grew from a foot long to 100 feet long. It slashed towards the Devil Sovereign. "You're dead for sure this time." Su Fong was a little proud, who asked the Devil Sovereign to be sealed and unable to move normally. Otherwise, he wouldn't have such an opportunity. Dang! But the result made him dumbfounded. He didn't know what the Devil Sovereign was made of. It was incomparably hard, even harder than the Spirit Snake Saber. The Spirit Snake Saber heavily slashed on the devil statue's head. The result was as expected. It didn't shatter the devil statue. Instead, the Spirit Snake Saber was knocked away. The Devil Sovereign didn't do anything. Instead, the Spirit Snake Saber was knocked away. Even Su Fong took a few steps back. He sucked in a breath of cold air. Even a low-grade magic weapon couldn't shatter it. "Haha, kid, you're short-sighted. Don't you know what kind of place this dark forest is? You think you're the strongest in the world with that low-grade magic weapon of yours?" The Devil Sovereign actually stretched out his neck. "I'll let you chop it. If you can hurt it even a little, I'll let you go." Spirit Snake Saber, Ghost King Claw. He didn't believe it. Wasn't it just a stone statue? Su Fong activated the spirit snake saber again. He used the fire cloud steps and arrived in front of the Devil Sovereign. Without any hesitation, he waved his arms and clawed at the stone statue. Dang dang when the Ghost King claw grabbed the Devil Sovereign, Su Fong realized how strong the other party was. It actually numbed his hands and arms. As for the Spirit Snake Saber's repeated attacks, coupled with the Ghost King claw, it was just as the Devil Sovereign said. He really couldn't hurt it all. Su Fong was so angry that he almost cursed. He still didn't care what it was. He wildly bombarded it. The magic weapon attacks surrounded the Devil Sovereign. After half an incense stick's time, Su Fong was so tired that he was gasping for breath. The veins on his body were clearly visible, and blood was flowing crazily. The Devil Sovereign smiled proudly. Young and ignorant. You're not even a gold core cultivator, yet you shamelessly boast that you want to fight with me. Don't insult my intelligence. Step back. Suddenly, Green Feather King's voice sounded in his mind. Su Fong suddenly came back to his senses. At such a distance, once the Devil Sovereign attacked, he wouldn't be able to dodge. Fortunately, Green Feather King reminded him to quickly retreat. Green Feather King, do you have a way to deal with him? Su Fong asked. Green Feather King said, this king can destroy him, but this Devil Sovereign seal should have been set up by one of the Dark Forest experts. If this king attacks, he might attract even more powerful experts. At that time, you won't have the slightest chance. Then wouldn't I be suppressed here? Su Fong was very disappointed. There's no need to be so dispirited. You and the little fox's cultivation bases are too weak. You don't understand formations, but this king has lived for so long. He can naturally see the flaws in this formation. He can also see that the Devil Sovereign statue and this space are only a part of the Devil Sovereign sealed space. Senior, what do you mean? That is to say, the expert who sealed the single-horned Devil Venerable separated the single-horned Devil Venerable into several different spaces. Why is that? There's only one explanation. This single-horned Devil Venerable is incomparably powerful. The person who sealed it was worried it would escape, so they split up the seal, placing the Devil Venerable's power in different places to reduce the possibility of the devil escaping. That's how I was able to see the flaw in the seal. Green Feather King continued, listen carefully. 100 meters to your left is the weakest part of the seal. You and the little fox can use your enchanted items to open an opening, but whether or not you'll be able to leave the Dark Forest, I don't know. Who cares? Let's leave this damnable sealed space first. Fortunately, Green Feather King was here. Otherwise, both he and Dao Wuyong would die from exhaustion. Activating the Flame Cloud steps, he sent a transmission to Xiao Mei and Dao Wuyong. The Devil Sovereign slowly moved. You want to run? I'm the king here. Where can you run? The three of them gathered and immediately flew deeper into the forest. Dao Wuyong looked at the wave of blood tongues chasing after them. Senior Pung King, you've helped us greatly this time. Hee. We're here. Spirit Snake Saber. In the blink of an eye, the three of them arrived under a stone pillar. Above them were the roots of a huge tree. It seemed like they were under the roots of a huge tree. Dao Wuyong sent his demonic qi into Su Fong's body, and Su Fong used heaven and earth to activate the Spirit Snake Saber. Behind them, the Devil Sovereign shouted, you're courting death. Boom. Su Fong and Dao Wuyong didn't care about that. They wanted to escape first. Under their control, the Spirit Snake Saber rushed up to the dense tree roots. A muffled, thunderous explosion shook the entire sealed space. Sure enough, a huge hole was blasted open above. The three of them flew out without saying a word. Whoosh! Almost at the same time, some dark aura also flew out of the sealed space. This dark aura was like the cry of a baby. Chapter 124. What did we release from the sealed space? When the seal was broken and the three of them flew out of the dojo, Dao Wuyong took the lead and flew out of the ground. When he saw the dark aura that flew out with him, he immediately had a bad feeling. Who cares? Let's go. Su Fong led Xiao Mei to the ground and reminded Dao Wuliang to quickly find a way out. This way, this way. Dao Wuliang hastily sensed the aura left behind by the true fox matriarch. After 3 breaths, he confirmed the direction and rushed forward. As for those darkness auras, they had unknowingly and excitedly flown out of the sealed forest. Some merged with the air, some merged with the ancient trees, and some looked for other hosts. In any case, these darkness auras were not simple. A clumsy devil statue crawled out of the ground with great difficulty. It was the incomparably powerful, single-horned devil sovereign. As soon as he stood up, he looked around. Oh well, since I was able to find the sealing rune, it's not a bad thing that my main body's clone can escape. The surrounding forest suddenly twisted. Devil Sovereign, you want to run away again? The single-horned Devil Sovereign's stone statue stiffened. Then it shattered layer by layer, as if it was about to break out of its cocoon. Damn, the dark forest hidden experts have appeared so quickly. Bang! 2 figures leaped out from the twisted forest like lightning. One of them held a rune talisman and pointed it at the single-horned demon Venerable who was peeling off the fragments. The rune talisman was implanted into the demon Venerable's back, and the fragments returned to the stone statue. This isn't my fault. Someone found the sealing rune talisman and broke it. You can't blame me. The single-horned devil sovereign flew into a rage. Unfortunately, he couldn't move. Last time, the master managed to chase your clone back with great difficulty. Now you want to run? Shouted the other person. The 2 of them were a man and a woman. They wore black robes that blended perfectly with the forest. If one didn't look carefully, it would be hard to see them. The woman immediately grabbed the single-horned devil sovereign. There really are 3 unfamiliar auras. I'll bring the devil sovereign back to the seal. You go catch those 3. Last time, the heaven and earth anomaly caused a large number of formations to lose their effectiveness. The demons in the forest were enraged, and many cultivators took the opportunity to pass through the forest. If these people had left a mark or something like that before, it's very likely that they would have left the forest. Since they dared to break the seal in the forest, we must suppress them. The man nodded and took out a rune talisman. His entire body merged with the rune talisman into the forest. To cause trouble in my dark forest, in this Shuatian realm, I'll suppress as many as you come. The man seemed to be walking through layers of illusions. All his eyes could see was the forest, one patch after another. It seems like this isn't the first time these people have entered the forest. Perhaps they took advantage of the previous heaven and earth anomaly to come here and leave behind their imprints. After passing through countless formations and several swamps, Zhang Xian saw 3 streaks of sword qi flying above the surface of a lake. The man suddenly grabbed the twisted forest in front of him. Not Hua Su Fong, Dao Wuliang, and Xiao Mei stepped on their flying swords and flew side by side. At this moment, there were no strange movements in the forest. However, at this moment, a Xian Guang suddenly appeared behind them and swept towards them. Dao Wuliang was indeed a big goblin that had condensed a golden core. In this world, only with a golden core could one be considered a true demon. When he turned around, his eyes shot out a large number of sword shadows. Fox Fiend True Sword. Swish swish. Pa. The sword Qi and the Xian Guang that surged towards him clashed. The Xian Guang was domineering and powerful, and the sword Qi did not show any weakness. They tore apart the Xian Guang. Once he used his divine ability, Dao Wuliang displayed his shocking methods. Sword shadows kept pouring out of his eyes, like a river of sword shadows. If this divine ability was used in the Zhao country, even the Zhao country's ancestor, Zhao Wuji, would not be a match for Dao Wuliang. The other side's Xian Guang was also incomparably powerful. It kept coming, and it felt like all the energy in the forest was being sucked dry by the Xian Guang. Don't attack yet. The opponent is very strong. Dao Wuliang used his divine ability alone to resist the Xian Guang. The 3 of them slowly retreated. A demon, and a fox demon at that. The space above the Xian Guang was torn apart. Space was torn apart. What kind of divine ability was this? Immortal? Immortal? In any case, Dao Wuliang, Su Fong, and Xiao Mei were all stunned. However, Dao Wuliang sneered. This kind of formation divine ability is not his personal divine ability. He's just using the formation. What an insightful fox demon. The black-robed man appeared from the torn space. He looked down from above. I've been in this forest for a while now. Although I haven't personally seen a fox demon, I've heard that there's an extremely powerful one in the small southern border. You must be related to him, right? Dao Wuliang put away his sword image and immediately retreated. I don't know. My surname is Dao, and my given name is Dao. Little fox demon, show me your might in the forest. If you were in the southern border, with your old fox's protection, you might be able to show off your might. But here you're nothing. Every tree and grass soldiers. The black-robed man's Xian Guang shot out, and a whirlpool appeared. The scene of the divine ability that appeared next was truly unbelievable. As the whirlpool gushed out, the surrounding trees and weeds actually transformed and danced, turning into faceless humans. More and more of them appeared, and the entire forest was filled with humans. There were too many of them. Soon, over 100 humans appeared. What kind of divine ability is this? Su Fong held Xiao Mei-er's hand, protecting her behind him. His palms were covered in cold sweat as he sighed inwardly. Only now did he broaden his horizons. This kind of divine ability was a true divine ability. Soldiers in every bush and tree. Soldiers in every bush and tree. God damn it, we're really unlucky today. The enemy has a formation rune talisman bestowed upon us by a supreme expert. With it, we can control the dark forest formations. Dao Wuyang's eyes were wide open, but he seemed to know about this kind of divine ability. Let's run. Whoosh. Without hesitation, the three of them stepped onto their flying swords. As for Dao Wuyang, he took out a few rune talismans and threw them behind him. The instant the three of them flew away, those talismans exploded in the air. The fox demon really is, as the rumors say. Ordinary hermits like us can't deal with a big goblin of that level. The black-robed man was furious. Seeing the explosions, he saw a large number of human figures explode. Then they disappeared into the forest's layers of formations. Dao Wuyang, don't get the direction wrong. Why do I feel like we're going in the wrong direction? The three flying swords flashed through the forest. In a misty world, they could only see within 100 meters. But in the forest, everything was the same. Other than trees, there was grass, and other than grass, there was water. After flying through the air, Su Fong looked behind him and then looked around. Why did it feel like they were back in the forest? Dao Wuyang patted his chest and said, "Don't worry. This is the effect of the formation. I once heard from grandmother that the dark forest was a forbidden area created by a supreme expert. There are too many formations, one layer after another. Now that we've entered a new formation, there will be some kind of visual illusion. Hee, but I can sense grandmother's imprint aura." Woo-woo. Su Fong did not have much confidence after hearing this. At this moment, Xiao Mei suddenly looked behind her. Su Fong and Dao Wuyang were so scared that they almost fainted. Terrifying giant figures were surging from behind, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws. They didn't seem to be demons or divine abilities, but demons. More and more demons appeared, and all the shadows turned into a red-armored man. It was obvious that he was a giant demon. He shouted, "How dare you break the dark forest rules? You're courting death. Cooperate with me and suppress these three humans." A black-robed man came from behind. It was the hermit who had attacked before. It's this king's responsibility to come to this king's territory. The red-armored man held a lightning trident in his hand. There were at least 10 figures that he had released. Each figure waved the trident as he waved it, and 10 bolts of lightning shot out. Go! The power of 10 bolts of lightning could be seen from Su Fong's expression. Su Fong did not react at all. Facing such an attack, with his vast core realm cultivation, there was no way he could resist it. Dao Wuliang once again summoned his magical treasure, the mystical wooden stick. Hua Hua. This time, the wooden stick was only 1 meter long, but it miraculously transformed into a large number of stick shadows. The power released by the 10 bolts of lightning was actually able to block the red armored man's attack. The black armored man and the black robed man stared at the large amount of lightning being dissolved by the wooden stick. They couldn't help but be shocked. This magical treasure is strange. It doesn't seem to be an ordinary treasure. If this continues, there will be no end to it. Illusion Fire Cloud. Su Fang also activated his divine ability. His phaseless fire cloud blade exploded in the air, and a large amount of flames attacked the surroundings. Dao Wuliang used his Fox Fiend True Sword to dissolve the lightning with the wooden stick. He also used his sword shadows to attack the red-armored figures. Flame Cloud Step at this time. The surroundings were filled with sword shadows and burning flames. Su Fang left Xiao Mayer behind, and suddenly, a wave of flames swept behind the sword shadows. Xianwang. Dao Wuliang was using all his strength to cooperate. Su Fang had already arrived below the 2 experts and released the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. 222, a huge gold and silver pagoda, suddenly rose up. The black-robed man and the red-armored man did not expect this. They were ruthlessly hit by the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. The 2 experts were like bouncy balls, and they were shaken out of the hazy forest. Run! After absorbing the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda into his arm, Dao Wuliang called out from the front. Su Fang flew over on his sword, and the 3 of them escaped into the depths of the forest in the blink of an eye. Dark forest. Within a palace, there was actually a palace in this seemingly desolate forest. A black-robed man suddenly walked out of the palace. If Su Fang and Dao Wuliang saw this person, they would definitely remember him. It was the black-robed man who had captured the one-horned demon Venerable. Come here. The man waved his hand in the air, and 2 figures appeared from the hazy fog. It was the red-armored man and the black-robed man. The 2 of them were in a sorry state, and their bodies were covered in blood. When they saw the black-robed man, they immediately trembled and knelt down. My lord, the young man sized up the 2 of them. I am still in seclusion. My dark forest has always been peaceful for many years. After the last upheaval, the forest array set up by Master caused more than half of the array to lose its effect, allowing a large number of demons to escape. This time, the one-horned demon Venerable's seal was damaged, and it seems that demons have escaped. My lord, the black-robed man explained everything. Fox Demon. After the man heard this, he immediately formed a seal, and a black space appeared in front of him. The one-horned demon Venerable was inside. After the man asked, he remembered that he had met a human and a demon at the Red Palm volcano. The man was silent for a while, and then he smiled. What a coincidence. I thought that they would only pass through the dark forest after they became stronger. I did not expect them to come here so quickly. Since they have broken the rules of the forest, immediately inform all the hermits guarding everywhere to search for these 3. If they are caught, they will be heavily rewarded. We will do it right away. The 2 hermits immediately stood up. The man waved his sleeve, and the 2 of them flew away. The black-robed man also disappeared. Chapter 125. In the hazy array world of the forest, 3 sword lights were shuttling back and forth. Hermits immediately captured 2 humans and 1 demon. Dao Wuliang, Su Fang, and Xiao Mei were standing on their flying swords. Dao Wuliang was searching for the aura left behind by Dao Jin's mother, flying towards the edge of the dark forest. Who would have thought that at this moment, the entire dark forest would resound with a loud sound, as if it was naturally awakened and could not be blasphemed. Su Fang looked around and felt as if there were eyes looking at him from all directions. If this continues, all kinds of experts will catch up to us. Dao Wuliang was so angry that he blew his beard and glared. You forced me into a corner. I can only use my trump card. I still have my trump card. Dao Wuliang said. Before we left, Grandmother gave me a rune talisman. It can activate the mark left in the dark forest and then travel to the last mark. That is the exit of the dark forest. Then why didn't you take it back earlier? This is a trump card. It can only be used once. Once the talisman is crushed, it will be gone. If we don't have to use it, then how will we come back in the future? We are weak now. Once we return from the crimson firmament continent, we won't have to fear the dark forest. I can't win against you in an argument. He was even taught a lesson by Su Fong. Dao Wuyong felt wronged. A talisman emerged from his palm. It was indeed the talisman left by Dao Zhen's mother in the dark forest. Dao Zhen Fox's mother was indeed powerful. She said that she could help Su Fong cross the dark forest. And in the end, she really did it. Break. Dao Wuyong smashed the talisman into pieces. The rune talisman suddenly shattered. At the same time, a large net-like force instantly surrounded the three of them. Then, like the blood-red tail of a fox, it swept through the forest and drilled into the void. It felt as if the world was moving backwards at a crazy speed. It was too fast. Su Fong and Xiao Meier felt dizzy under Dao Wuyong's astonishing control. Whoosh after a breath, everything came to an abrupt end. The three of them almost fell to the ground. They immediately looked ahead and saw that the haze was dissipating. They could vaguely see the 10,000 mountains outside the forest. Dao Wuyong summoned his flying sword. Let's go. Where are you going? Woo-woo. The forest behind them seemed to be shaking at the same time. When the three of them looked back, their eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. Distortions appeared in the air above the forest. All kinds of human figures were forming. There were actually dozens of people who controlled all the energy in the forest. Dark forest. Since you've joined us, I won't be polite. I'll give you a big gift. Let the celestial sealing sex people come here to search for the human emperor's bright will fragment. Seeing such a terrifying scene, how could he resist? Su Fong suddenly had an idea and revealed a somewhat evil smile. He waved his right arm and shot out a beam of demon qi. Within the demonic qi, a bird monster that was hundreds of feet in size suddenly took shape. This was a flying bird. It was clearly an existence that surpassed most of the demons in the demon race. The demonic rock. King Qingyu's eyes were blood red. After he appeared in the air, the dark forest hidden experts did not even have time to react. A pair of wings produced a fierce whirlwind. This king is here. All of you get lost. Tut, 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 the whirlwind was really explosive. Who asked King Qingyu to be an old monster like Dao Zhen Fox's mother? In this human world, he was already an existence that stood at the peak. The demonic qi rushed toward the dark forest's hidden experts with a momentum of 10,000 horses galloping. This was probably the first time King Qingyu had used his demonic qi so happily since he escaped from the Celestial Sealing Sect. He did not have to fear the Celestial Sealing Sect's search and could use his demonic qi without restraint. All the forests and formations in front of them were shattered by the demonic qi. Everything turned into dust. As for those hidden experts, they had long disappeared with the destruction of the forest. Let's go. Su Fong immediately sucked Dao Wuyong into the mysterious yellow. The three of them stepped on their flying swords and took the opportunity to fly toward the myriad mountains. Soon, after a few breaths, with a roar, the three of them finally flew out of the vast dark forest and arrived at the vast sky. They were still not at ease and did not have the mood to take a look at the crimson firmament continent. The three of them continued to fly at their fastest speed toward the vast land. At the edge of the dark forest, the demonic qi was still exploding in the fog that had turned into ruins. When did the Peng race come to the Zhuotian world? The strongest young man among the hidden experts slowly broke through the air. Everything in the dark forest was like a field in front of him that he could control at will. The man absorbed a portion of the demonic qi and was very surprised. The Peng race is the king of the demonic qi. In my memory, the Zhuotian world does not seem to have the Peng race. What a powerful demonic Peng. Seems like we can only wait for Master to return before we can calculate the whereabouts of this demonic Peng. My lord, a lot of badly mutilated hidden experts flew over. This matter does not have much to do with you. There will always be some special experts appearing in the dark forest. Moreover, I was busy repairing the formation barrier that was damaged by the heaven and earth anomaly and neglected this point. You guys go and recuperate. The outer forest will slowly recover. But remember these people in the future. The next time you enter the forest, you must suppress them. The man was not angry this time, but his expression was not good. Zhao country. Buzz buzz. Two yellow-robed men were in the vast land, maintaining their hand seals. They should be searching for King Qingyu's aura. At this time, the jade pendants on their waist began to hum intensely. The two of them turned at the same time and looked in the direction of the distant crimson firmament continent. They were both surprised. King Qingyu actually appeared in the dark forest. Given King Qingyu's strength, he shouldn't have recovered to the state he was in 10,000 years ago. It won't be easy for him to charge through the dark forest. He must have fought with the experts inside. That should be the case. This is even more troublesome. If he is suppressed by the experts in the dark forest, how are we going to take him back? Senior apprentice brother and the others have already reached the other side of the dark forest. Let's go. The two experts discussed for a while and then looked at the Zhao country's experts below. They did not place them in their eyes at all. They disappeared without a sound. At the edge of the crimson firmament continent, in the void near the dark forest, buzz! The sky suddenly distorted, and a formation began to appear. This was the true power of an innate technique. A formation appeared out of thin air, and after the formation appeared, over 30 experts instantly appeared. All of them were dressed in yellow robes, and if they didn't have long hair, they would have short hair. They immediately locked onto the dark forest. King Qingyu's aura is very clear. He's in the dark forest. The experts looked around. As one of the strongest powers on the crimson firmament continent, they were in a dilemma against the dark forest. After discussing for a while, they quickly arrived in front of the dark forest's never-dissipating fog. One of them was an extremely young man. He wasn't even 30 years old, but he seemed to be the strongest person here. After a moment, he cupped his fists and said, "I am the Immortal Sealing Gate's envoy, Yuan Tianzong. I have a matter to discuss with the Dark Forest's hidden expert. Senior apprentice brother Yuan, with your status, there's no need for us to be so courteous. The Dark Forest has never taken the initiative to be courteous with our Immortal Sealing Gate," said one of the people behind him. They felt that the Immortal Sealing Gate was the overlord of the Awa Heaven world. How could they be so courteous in front of the Dark Forest? Yuan Tianzong said, "You can't say that. In the past, our disciples entered the Dark Forest to seek treasures and temper themselves. But now that we want to capture King Qingyu, it's no longer a matter between us and the Dark Forest. It's between the two powers. Senior apprentice brother, you're right. Let's try peaceful means before resorting to force." And the human emperor's bright wheel fragment is still in his body. So rashly becoming enemies with the Dark Forest isn't good for the Immortal Sealing Gate. Understand, the human emperor's bright wheel is very important. Don't let anyone know this secret. The other major forces are also secretly looking for Green Feather King to snatch the fragment. After the great elder finished speaking, the virtual image immediately dissipated. Yuan Tianzong watched the old man leave. He frowned and immediately flew toward the dark forest. Tens of thousands of miles away from the dark forest, in a mountain surrounded by clouds. Damn it, I lost my teleportation talisman. Damn the dark forest. Damn the Immortal Sealing Gate. When I become as strong as my grandmother, I'll definitely uproot these two forces. I'll grind their bones to dust, skin them, take their bones, drink their blood, and eat their flesh. The sound of rapid breathing echoed in the forest. Chapter 126. The three of them used the teleportation talisman to arrive at the mountain and enter the forest. Dao Wuyong was gnashing his teeth in anger. His resentment and hostility were gradually turning yellow. He was so scared that even the forest seemed to be frozen. Let's recharge our energy first. Our sect will wander the crimson firmament continent, and we'll have plenty of treasures in the future. Su Fong first had Xiao Mei sit down to rest before comforting Dao Wuliang. A demon was a demon, and a fox demon at that. Dao Wuliang hated the celestial sealing sect and the dark forest to the core. Furthermore, he was a vengeful person. If it was as he said, then once he became strong in the future, the celestial sealing sect and the dark forest would not be spared. Demon, hey. Someone was uneasy. Xiao Mei had Su Fong sit to the side. Only then did she feel more at ease. From time to time, she would glance at the angry Dao Wuliang. This is incredible. It seems Dao Wuliang's demon nature will grow in the future. He'll kill and eat anyone he sees. That shouldn't be the case. Su Fong hinted. Based on my understanding of Dao Wuliang, although he's crazy, cruel, and greedy, he won't lose himself in killing. Moreover, Dao Zhen's fox mother is also an expert. This time, Dao Wuliang is so angry because the dark forest and the celestial sealing sect forced him into a corner. Actually, in my heart, I also have a stomach full of grievances and anger. I'm an individual, and the dark forest and the celestial sealing sect are like a mountain. If we offend them, we won't have a good ending. Xiao Mei suddenly looked at Su Fong, her gaze complicated and filled with curiosity. You've changed. You've become an experienced cultivator with complicated thoughts. You can't go against the flow. You have to go with the flow. This saying is very reasonable. Of course, in some aspects, I will still go against the flow. In some aspects, I have to learn how to adapt. If I didn't adapt, how could I have survived in the state of Zhao? Could you and I have lived until now? That's reasonable. If not for you, I would have died in the Imperial Palace. Cultivation. There are still many dangers waiting for us in the future. He took out some of the highest grade spirit items that were close to the heavenly fusion realm, as well as some meridian loosening pills, and gave some to Xiao Mei. The two ignored Dao Wuliang, letting him draw circles on the side. Bang for a long time. The three of them sat cross-legged and cultivated under the dense forest. And Su Fong had broken through again. A shockingly powerful energy burst out of his body, penetrating through 6 layers of Xianguang. 6th level of the vast core stage. The spirit chi in the Crimson Nimbus continent is so abundant. It can't be compared to the Dark Forest, but it's much better than the southern region. I didn't expect to be able to reach the 6th level of vast core realm from the 5th level so quickly. When he opened his eyes, Su Fong's eyes were filled with a powerful aura. Xiao Mei and Dao Wuliang were also awakened. Su Fong controlled the energy in his body and the mana in his divine aperture. His body was breaking apart. The space in his right arm had doubled in size after fusing with his father's spiritual vein. It was also enduring the impact of the advancement. His divine aperture buzzed nonstop. The power of advancement condensed his magic power, and after each impact, his divine aperture became more and more solid. In the Danchinakor embryo, also transformed back into the Purple River. The Purple River was the essence of the human race. It was a mysterious existence. When the Golden Core was formed in the Dantian, the Purple River would appear. The Purple River was a fusion of the human race's chi essence, blood chi, spiritual energy, and dermic powers. Soon, he reached the 6th stage of the vast core realm. Whether it was the barrier or the 2 strange chi marks, there were obvious changes compared to before. Master, you can now use 1/10 of the mysterious yellow's power. The mysterious yellow absorbed a large amount of gold and silver chi a while ago and recovered nearly 1/10. The mysterious yellow was very happy in his mind. Green Feather King. His mind entered the mysterious yellow. In the first layer, Su Fong saw the Green Feather King. He was especially concerned about Crane Fairy, Bai Ling. He asked her to cultivate well with the Green Feather King and strive to transform into a human form and come out earlier. The Green Feather King still ignored him. How could a dignified Peng race expert care about a human weakling like him? Su Fong was curious about the Flying Tiger King. This was the first commander. When the Flying Tiger King saw Su Fong, it was also well-behaved. It was absorbing the power of the mysterious yellow to condense a golden core. The mysterious yellow's power came from Su Fong, as well as the spiritual chi of nature. When the commander, mysterious yellow, Su Fong, and nature fused together, it would form a cycle of reincarnation. Look at this map. It was brought back from the Crimson Firmament continent by my grandmother 10,000 years ago. The Broken Sword sect should be in front of us, and the closest city is called Sword Peak City. In the sky, the three of them stepped on their flying swords and flew in the air, almost flying in the clouds. Dao Wuliang was holding a map. He was checking the direction with Su Fong and Xiao Mei-er. On the map, the Broken Sword sect took up quite a bit of space. The Crimson Firmament continent has over 1,000 sects, but there are only a few major powers. The Broken Sword sect can be considered a first-rate power. Look at how vast it is. It's almost as big as the Zhao Empire. And the Immortal Sealing sect is at the center of the continent, so it's much bigger. We'll first settle down in Sword Peak City and then think about what to do next. Once we enter the Broken Sword sect's territory, we can avoid the Immortal Sealing sect's people searching for us. A few days later, a city appeared in front of them. The amount of spiritual chi in the city was about the same as the Dark Forest. It wasn't very big, but from time to time, they could see demonic beasts and cultivators on flying swords passing by. After entering the city, they felt that everyone here was a cultivator. Moreover, there were pitifully few chi-eating realm and flesh-body realm cultivators. Almost all of them were transcendent realm and vast core realm cultivators. As for golden core realm cultivators, they could see a few from time to time. As expected of a city under the Broken Sword sect, heavenly core realm cultivators were like cabbages. Moreover, there was another obvious discovery. Most of the cultivators here use swords. There were very few cultivators riding demonic beasts. After walking around for half a day, the three of them understood some of the survival knowledge of cultivators on the Crimson Firmament continent. The most commonly used item in the Crimson Firmament continent was the Pure Origin Pill. Pure Origin Pills were also a kind of currency. With Pure Origin Pills, not only could one cultivate, but they could also buy all kinds of magic treasures and other things they wanted. Pure Origin Pills were refined by various large forces. It was difficult for ordinary cultivators to have a large amount of high-grade Pure Origin Pills. Xiao Mei-er also had a good understanding of Pure Origin Pills. She had this pill formula, and there were hundreds of them in her empty bag. They were refined by her master when he was alive. However, it required many kinds of spiritual herbs, a pill cauldron to refine, true fire, or spirit fire, as well as all kinds of natural heavenly fire. Other than Pure Origin Pills, as long as one was a tycoon on the Crimson Firmament continent, they could buy transcendent realms with Pure Origin Pills. They could also join all kinds of sects to cultivate, and any magic treasures they needed would be easily obtained. However, it was already not easy for ordinary cultivators to have 100 low-grade Pure Origin Pills. The three of them found an inn to rest for a few days and familiarize themselves with Sorpole City. What should we do next? Should we go to the Immortal Sealing sect? Early in the morning, the three of them came to the first floor and ordered some food. Xiao Mei-er looked at Su Fong and Dao Wuliang, thinking about where they should go. Dao Wuliang disdainfully said, "Let's go directly to the Immortal Sealing sect. Your target is Zhao Wuji, and I also want to start from there. I want to see if my Fox Clan's treasures have fallen into their hands." Su Fong observed from the side and saw that the man seemed to have something to say, but he still wanted to tell them. "Senior, if you have something to say, you can just say it. We're just ordinary cultivators in the law opening realm. We haven't condensed our gold core yet, so we can't offend the Qing family. This Qing Rulong has reached the peak of the longevity realm, and is about to break through to the next realm. He has always been thinking of ways to break through. He often goes to the twin immortal sect and often interacts with the female cultivators there. He plans to use dual cultivation to break through. That's why he has taken a liking to this lady's beauty. I'm afraid she won't be able to escape this time. Secondly, the Qing clan has always been vicious and merciless, using their strength to bully the weak. Doesn't that mean we won't be able to survive? It's all my fault. I didn't expect you to have the pure origin pills recipe. If I had known earlier, I would have let you come to the cabinet to discuss in detail. Who would have thought that Qing Rulong would interfere? He's the grandson of one of the Qing clan's elders, and we can't afford to offend him. All right, what do you want? Su Fong said, we want teleportation talismans, so we'll exchange our previous transcendent artifacts for teleportation talismans. Then we can only exchange for 20 of them, and they're of the heavenly fusion realm. The man proposed a number, but the three of them didn't haggle and left the room for the time being. What should we do? After the merchant left, Xiaomei nervously approached Su Fong. She wanted to know what Su Fong wanted the teleportation talismans for, 20 of them. Dao Wuliang also didn't know what Su Fong was planning, but after Su Fong roughly explained his plan, Xiaomei face turned pale. Haha, good. Master Dao is the only one in this world who can bully others, and there's also someone who can lead me around by the nose. Dao Wuliang laughed sinisterly. He felt that under his expression, Qing Rulong, who he couldn't afford to offend in Sword Polarity City, was about to become a piece of meat waiting to be slaughtered. To deal with a perverted criminal, you have to have some methods. Su Fong seemed to have become a kindred spirit with Dao Wuliang, causing Xiaomei to hesitate. But when she thought of what kind of person Qing Rulong was, she quickly became furious. The merchant quickly returned. Although they hadn't successfully exchanged the pure origin pills with the teleportation talismans, they had the ability to escape. The three of them arrived in the hall, and Qing Rulong warmly welcomed them. With a single glance, one could tell that someone who was unaccountably solicitous was hiding evil intentions. After leaving the Chamber of Commerce, Qing Rulong invited the three of them to the Qing clan. Xiaomei acted like concubine Xiao when she had gone to the state of Zhao.